Are live again, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Also, make sure you visit Donfo, DANFO, Donfo.Africa. We will open up the lines here in about 30 minutes. Tour Nigeria. We are still rolling to Nigeria here in about 2 months. We leave August 8th for the Oshun Festival. We're leaving August 8th for the Oshun Festival. We'll love to have you guys. We'll love for you to join. We have some spots left, so please come and join us in Nigeria, August 8th through the 17th for the Oshun Festival. Again, for the Oshun Festival, August 8th through the 17th. We will love to have you. Also, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is coming up November 20th through December 3rd. Again, November 20th through December 3rd. If you're interested in joining us in Sierra Leone, please visit Donfo, DANFO, Donfo.Africa. Again, please visit Donfo, DANFO Africa. We would love to have you. It will be an honor for you to join us on our tours. Now, the topic today, we're kind of shifting from what we usually talk about. I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm going to discuss some, not just observations that I've been seeing here in Atlanta, but observations really across the Black community in America as a whole. So a rapper named Trouble was killed, I believe Saturday night. He was murdered. It was over a woman. And I think I know one song by Trouble. I really don't listen to a lot of the Atlanta rap. I would say the last rapper that I listened to from Atlanta consistently was Young Jeezy, and that was Thug Motivation 101, and I think like 102. But after that, for the most part, I don't listen to rap, hip hop, period, especially the new stuff. I just don't listen to it. But he was killed, he was murdered over a woman. But it's time to really discuss a more troubling issue as a whole when it comes to the Black community in America. Um, the Black community in America, we cannot go 5 seconds, men and women, without killing each other, and it's becoming a problem. Like, it's really becoming a problem, and it's something that when you bring it up as a Black man or Black woman, when you bring up just the amount of Black on Black violence here in America, it's something that people try to sweep under the rug. They try to shame you. They call you a coon. They try not to hold. They try to deflect. They try to be evasive. They try to blame the white man and the conditions that we're in due to the white man. And it's to the point now that it's like, look, it's something that needs to be really addressed, and the conversation needs to be had. Because number one, I thought that once we got rid of the orange man, because the orange man was enabling the white supremacists, that everything was going to be better. So I'm just trying to figure out who's enabling, these degenerates in our community. Who's enabling them? As far as the amount of murders, robberies, killings that go on in our community that no one wants to talk about, that no one wants to address or confront. Like, who's enabling these clowns? I really want to know, like, who's enabling these clowns in our community here in America. I mean, the murder rate here in Atlanta. I mean, there was the murder rate in these Black communities in these cities. The murder rate is gone up The crime is skyrocketing. And here in Atlanta, it's embarrassing. Like it's, you know, you call it the Black Mecca, but when we say Black Mecca, Mecca needs to be spelled MEKKA. That's how it needs to be spelled. I mean, we destroyed. I mean, you can't even go to Lenox Mall anymore. You can't even go to Lenox Mall anymore. We have destroyed Lenox Mall. Lenox Mall is not a safe space anymore. We used to talk about how ghetto Greenbrier Mall is, how ghetto South DeKalb Mall is, but I feel safer in Greenbrier Mall than I do Lenox Mall. And I started to notice this shift back in 2000, and I would say 16. It was like 2016 or 2017. I had a friend from Sacramento. Him and his family, they came to Atlanta to come visit. And I said, you know what? Let's go to Lenox Mall, because Lenox Mall is supposed to be the symbol of Black excellence and high end shopping and all this other stuff. So we went to Lenox Mall. We go into the food court. We're not as in me, but our people in our community, they were selling dope in the open in the food court. You go upstairs, there was like groups of 6'3" drag queens walking around. There were men openly pimping out women in Lenox Mall. The amount of white liberals have nothing to do with this stuff. Okay, we need to stop blaming white people. This is an internal problem. I mean, it's a lack of morality and just we just the community. We just don't stand for anything anymore. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, it was just embarrassing. The amount of just dysfunctional behavior that I saw in Lenox that day. That's why I wasn't surprised when I started hearing about shootouts, people getting shot, people getting killed at Lenox Mall. There was a shootout at Fogo de Chao. I mean, we've ruined Buckhead. Buckhead is not safe. And I was one of those people where when they took the clubs away from out of Buckhead, I was like, oh, it's racist. Y'all just don't want Black folks around. Like, I used to be one of those guys, but I understand. I completely understand now why they shut down all the clubs in Buckhead. And even with the clubs shut down in Buckhead, we are still tearing ish up in Buckhead. Yeah, but Lenox Mall was a mess that day. And that day I knew, okay, we're regressing as a people. Again, selling dope openly in the food court, 6'3" drag queens just walking around, men openly pimping their women in the mall. And the thing is, this was just a normal weekend. Like, this wasn't All-Star weekend or something going on. This was a normal weekend at Lenox Mall in Atlanta. A normal weekend. A normal weekend. I mean, everybody's pants was sagging. Again, everybody's pants was just sagging down to their knees. It's just, I mean, it was just embarrassing. And I was like, this is supposed to be Black excellence. This is supposed to be the Black Mecca. And I was really embarrassed because before then, I haven't been to Lenox Mall like in years. And the amount of dysfunction I saw. That's why, again, when people were getting killed and shot and murdered at Lenox Mall, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. But no one wants to address this. Everybody wants to tell you in the Black community that Donald Trump was the problem and how he's enabling, that I'll do another show on that and how he's enabling white supremacists. But my thing is, who is enabling the people who look like me and you in our communities who are destroying the community? Who is enabling them? And nobody wants to discuss that. And many black people, black people know that this element is in our community, and they just avoid it because in our communities, you have white flight, then you had black flight. So you had black people who were running from this type of destructive behavior, but they don't want to talk. They don't want to address it. Here in Atlanta, they want to put their heads in the sand. Stacey Abrams is gonna come and save it. Right now in Atlanta, black folks is getting ready. Um, right now in Atlanta, black folks is getting ready for Stacey Abrams. They want Stacey. They don't care. They don't care about the murders, the crimes, the etc. in the black community here in Atlanta. They just want Stacey Abrams. That's what they're gearing up for. They could care less. The car wash business near my home used to employ all black men. They have been placed by Mexicans. There is shootout after shootout, murder after murder in our communities all across America, and no one wants to address it or talk about it at all. Black Lives Matter is nowhere to be found. Tamika Mallory's nowhere to be found. All our so-called community leaders are nowhere to be found at all. And that's why I keep making comments like the black community in America is finished. The best thing you could do, take care of your family, build wealth, and start looking outside of these borders. And see, this is the problem. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. I knew you were coming. I knew this is the problem. This is the lack of accountability. Black people, we talk about how we built the pyramids, how we built America, how the white man was in the caves of Europe, and we taught him how to eat with a fork, and we taught him how to bathe. We come up with all this stuff, but when it comes to the issues in our community, we have every excuse. In fact, I want to play something for you guys real quick. Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up. Guys, and this is what I'm about to play is just key. We want to deflect and we want to be evasive. We always blame. We always want to deflect to other groups and make excuses on why we are barbaric to each other. We always want to excuse us being barbaric to, well, look at the other groups. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about right here. And somebody else brought up Nigeria. What happened in Nigeria was terrible. But again, this is the problem. Black Americans, we boast how, we set the trends, we set the culture, how everybody else wants to be just like us. How all these other groups want to be like us. Black Americans were this, Black America were that. But then when it comes to the degenerates and being barbaric in our society, we got every excuse in the book, and we want to deflect. Every excuse in the book. Every excuse. But this is what I'm talking about as far as lack of accountability. Hold on one second. Hold on. This is hold on, I gotta find this. I gotta find this. And this has to do with the lady that was allegedly pregnant who got shot the other day by the police, and she ended up having a gun. But if you just listen, here we go. Hold on one second, guys. It's like we defend. I'm gonna tell you the issue with the black community. For some reason, we defend our criminals more than we do the people who are doing the right thing. Hold on, I want to play this. Hold on one second, guys. Give me a second. Again, we defend our criminals more than we do more than we do the people who are doing the right thing in our community.
My kids, y'all. My son just watched this. My 1-year-old son just watched this. My 10-year-old son just watched this. And my 13-year-old son just watched this happen. The man ran. She was finna cooperate. She got scared. She ran down there. They shot her. 1, 2, 3, 4. My son got it on his phone too. They got her in handcuffs while she shot God. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right.
Tonight, a rally highlighting the mistrust between of our community and the Kansas City Police Department. This after officers shot and injured a woman.
Our community is hurt. We are hurting. We are traumatized.
We've had problems with KCPD, and so I don't trust that department.
Tonight, we are hearing responses from those at the rally. The Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, which announced charges hours ago, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who is leading this investigation. The prosecutor's office announced charges against that woman, Leona Hale, earlier this evening. She's charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, exhibiting it in a threatening manner, and resisting arrest. Prosecutors say the charges come after reviewing body camera video. The prosecutor's office sharing this screenshot of the video today showing Hale.
So, guys, remember the shooting, the police-involved shooting of the lady who was allegedly pregnant. Again, who was allegedly pregnant by the police in Kansas City. And guess what? We rose up. We wanted to fight back, and we wanted to rally and all that. Turns out the lady had a gun, and she was involved in a carjacking. That's a gun in her hand. But I want to play the rest of this video because I just want you guys to listen. Somebody said I look like Bigfoot in the video. Here we go. Watts, LA, Minnesota riots are behind criminals. I need to look into that. Yeah, I mean, she has a gun. Same thing with this Congolese guy, the Congolese immigrant that got off by the police. I mean, the police officer gave dude so many chances. I mean, so many chances. And then we want to, rally against that. It's like we defend our degenerates and our criminals more than we do the people who are actually contributing to the community in a productive way. So we won't call her a coon. Again, we won't call her a coon, but Ben Carson's a coon for some reason. So Ben Carson's a coon, but she's not a coon. You know, she's an upstanding person in our community. You know, she's an upstanding person. Ben Carson is undermining reparations for white society. No, I'm gonna tell you what's undermining reparations. People like her, she's undermining reparations. Nobody takes the Black community center serious. There's no more empathy for the Black community. You got people like this. But again, but again, my point is, what does Nigeria, what does the white man, what does somebody brought up Ethiopia, you know, what do they have to do with trap queens like this? What do they have to do with, again, why can't Black America, why can't we go 10 seconds without killing or shooting each other in our own communities? Again, what does that have to do with anything? So now they're trying to make her a hero. And the problem is, again, Ben Carson's a coon, but she's a martyr. She's a hero. The Congolese guy is a hero. These are the type of people we make heroes. This lady had a gun, was involved in a carjacking, and the police pulled on her, rightfully so. And this is the thing, when it comes to police, I keep it balanced. Because if something happens, I'm calling the police, period. So all this defund the police and all this other stuff, I'm not with that. Because listen, what's going on in Atlanta right now, we need more police. All this, we need holistic, this, that, and the other, and defund the police. Nah. We need the police.
With a gun in her hand. According to court documents, video surveillance showed officers telling Hale to drop the firearm. This happened Friday outside the Family Dollar at East 6th and Prospect. Officers at the time were investigating the vehicle Hale was in, saying it matched the description of a stolen vehicle. A statement from the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office reads in.
But again, if you're not doing anything wrong, okay? If you're not doing anything wrong, all right, why are you running from the car with a gun? Why? Why are you running from the car with a gun?
In part, our review of the investigation revealed the defendant, although she denied having a weapon at the time of the encounter with law enforcement officers, continually displayed a weapon during her encounter with police officers and also appeared to be attempting to flee. Hale is still recovering from that shooting at this hour. Our reporter Andres Gutierrez talked with two people who rallied for her today in light of these charges.
See, this right here, this is buffoonery. Rally for what? Rally for what? Rally for what? What are you rallying for? This is closed. This case is closed and shut and closed. And see, and this is the problem with this protect all Black women by any means necessary. The women who are yelling this the most are the ones that put themselves in the most harm's way. Again, I want you to notice something. The women who are on this protect Black women by any means necessary are the ones that put themselves in harm's way. Then they want you to come clean up their mess. Don't do it. Do not do it. The rebuttal will be that white supremacists kill people and get taken in alive without getting shot. But again, what does that got to do with us killing each other in our own communities? Again, what does the white man got to do with us not being able to go 10 seconds without killing each other in our communities?
Women! Those who know of Leona Hale wish there would have been a peaceful outcome rather than what happened Friday night in this Family Dollar parking lot. KCPD opened fire.
We don't care if she did or didn't do what they said she did.
We don't care if she did or didn't do what she said she did. Again, it's just a lack of accountability. This girl allegedly steals a car, gets pulled over, hops out the car with a loaded weapon, and is pointing at the police while she's running. And this is the type of behavior we are rewarding in our community. This is the type of actions that we are rewarding in our community. We want to make her a martyr now. She's Harriet Tubman. You know, she's Coretta Scott King now. Again, she allegedly was part of a carjacking, gets pulled over, flees the car with a gun in her hand and points it out at police. But we want to make her a hero and a martyr. This is the type of goofy behavior that is setting us back. This right here. This right here.
She did not get shot down.
As Hale recovers from her wounds, supporters came together well aware of the charges the 26-year-old woman faces for allegedly having a firearm and, according to law enforcement, pointing that weapon at them.
No matter what we are told did happen, Ms. Hale was a human being. And could have been any one of our mothers, sisters, cousins.
Listen, Miss Hale allegedly stole a car, ran from the police. Shout out to He Is Blanchard. Y'all, hey, Lavelle, I got to get you on here, Lavelle. Lavelle, I got to get you on here, bro. Hey, Lavelle, link is in the chat room. Hey, Lavelle, if you're free to come on, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Lavelle, if you want to come on, Lavelle, click on the link. He Is Blanchard. Link is in the chat room. But again, they're completely ignoring the fact that she pulled out a gun, a loaded gun. Okay, what if your son was one of the police officers that she pulled out a gun on? Again, what if your son was one of the police officers that she pulled out a gun on, that she pulled the gun out on? And again, it's this lack of accountability that's it's annoying because we rally behind this foolishness. Again, we rally around this foolishness. Yeah, she's not pregnant, but see, that was the narrative. They were talking about, oh, she's pregnant. They shot a unarmed pregnant black woman. They didn't shot an unarmed pregnant black woman. They didn't shot an unarmed pregnant black woman. That was the narrative they were pushing.
Aunties, for whatever reason, we would want them to be lawfully and not.
How can you bring in somebody safely? They're pointing a gun at you. How can you bring in somebody safely if they're pointing a gun at you? If she was serious about being brought in safely, all right, when the cops pulled her over, she should have just, if she did nothing wrong, she should have just listened to the directions given by the officers. What you doing stealing cars in the first place? I mean, again, what you doing stealing cars in the first place? Discipline, accountability, and integrity are in short supply in the Black community. Absolutely. I'm gonna write that down. It's out of control. But you know what? Stacey Abrams is gonna come and save the day. Again, Stacey Abrams is gonna come and save the day. So don't worry about it. Stacey Abrams is coming. She's gonna save the day. We are praising degenerate behavior.
Be shot 5 times. We would not want that.
Activist Justice Gatson organized this evening's gathering and questions this single image of Hale holding a gun released by the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, who says it came from one of the officer's body cameras.
It's the first time we've seen that photograph in safely and not be shot 5 times. We would not want that.
Activist Justice Gatson organized this evening's
Ms. Hale was a human being, and could have been any one of our mothers, sisters, cousins, aunties. For whatever reason, we would want them to be brought in safely and not be shot 5 times. We would not want that.
activist.
I wanted to deposit here. It's in the chat room. Click on the link in the chat room, Lavelle. You got to click on the link in the chat room. It's right there, the StreamYard link. Click on that link. But guys, this is the reason why I'm not this stand with Black women. Like, this is why people aren't taking it serious anymore. Because again, the women who yell, protect Black women at all costs, are some of the most degenerate, unaccountable, put themselves in harm's way women that you'll ever meet. And they want you to come and clean up their mess. And so they're ruining, again, they are ruining the Stand with Black Women movement and making it look bad.
Justice Gatson organized this evening's gathering and questions this single image of Hale.
I mean, look at this. Like, where you like, and we talked about this when we discussed the video of the Congolese brother that got killed by the police, that ran from police. It's like, where are you going? Where are you running to? I mean, the majority of y'all out of shape. You sit, you smoke all day, you drink, you're out of shape, popping mollies, pants sagging, skinny jeans with the big shoes on. Like, where are you running? You ain't running from the police in those skinny jeans and big tennis shoes, pants sagging to your knees. Where are you running? Where are you running to? Like, where are you going? The problem is black people are on code for the most stupid things. I agree. And guys, I'm gonna get back to trouble. Here we go. Free Blanche is on. Here we go. Like, where are you going?
What's
Free
going
Blanche. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. And everyone, welcome my brother. Hey, listen, fellow Christian brothers, alumni. You know, my brother Free Blanche. Shout out to Free Blanche.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. What you want to add to this situation that's going
Man.
on? This is our communities, bro. But Blanche, I thought this was all going to end when we got rid of the orange man. I thought we was gonna go back to normal.
Listen, man, Joe Biden ran a campaign literally saying, I'm not that guy. No kind of just, I'm not him. And we went for it. I've been looking at all these numbers with police brutality for the past 2 years. And I'm sorry to my people. It's just not real. If you think about it, there's been like every year, there's like over 50 million police interactions with all the citizens. And out of those 50 million police reactions, we're talking about less than 2,000 deaths for everybody. You got to ask yourself a question though. Why is the media only showing you one group of people being killed by the police? If there's whites being killed, Hispanics being killed, Asians, if everybody's being killed by the police, why are they only showing you one person being killed by the police, group of people? You got to ask yourself why. The police kill people every single day of all nationalities and races. Everybody getting shot by the police. Most of them being armed though. So my question is, why is the media only showing, if police brutality is so bad, why are they only showing you one group of people being shot by the police? There's a reason. Why are they making a big deal when we get shot by the police? But meanwhile, it's thousands of other families crying because their loved ones got shot too. So why are they only picking our community to display police brutality when it's quote unquote happening to everybody?
Why is it Free Blanche? Why is it?
It's because you can't push the narrative. If you show everybody being killed by the police, then there's no outrage. Because think about it. That means it's not about race. That means it's not about any factors that the powers that be need to separate the people, the media needs. So if you think about it, in our community, there's been over 40,000 homicides in the past 5 years, this being the 5th year. So we're still counting. There's been over 40,000, but there's been 1,300 homicides in our community by the police in the past 5 years. So how is it that 1,300 deaths, 1,300, most of the people are armed? Let me say that again. About 98% of the people are armed that are getting shot by the police. Majority
About 98%.
About 98%.
We just seen one right here. We just seen one right here, obviously.
Okay, but what they don't tell you is how many times the police get attacked. So I've been looking at this stuff for the past 2 years. In Atlanta right now, I want y'all to Google how many police officers from our community that have been killed in Atlanta. No outrage. I want y'all to look at the police that look like us in Atlanta that have been killed with no outrage. Nobody cares. It don't matter, nothing. So again, I've been looking at this whole police brutality thing, and to me, it's just propaganda. Because you can't tell me that we not talking about 40,000 deaths that we committed, over 40,000, and we talking about 1,300. Most of the people are armed. So even the people that aren't armed, they don't tell you about how many times police officers get attacked. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you that out of 50 million police interactions, 50 million, we're talking about almost 2,000 deaths. That's almost what? 0.000000001%. Most folks interact with the police is peaceful. Most folks don't even get a ticket. Most folks don't even get a ticket. This whole notion that we being hunted down by, it's just not it's not true. I've been looking into it, and the problem is my people don't read, don't research, don't do no investigative work. Soon as they say cop shot, racism, we tune out, we blank out. You heard the woman just say, I don't care what she did. I don't care if she carjacked.
Lack of accountability. Right.
I don't care if she carjacked. I don't care if she had a gun. I don't care if she shot somebody. George Floyd did a home invasion. Y'all know George Floyd went to prison multiple times, but one of his home invasions was against Black Girl Magic. He went into the house. He put the gun to the pregnant woman's stomach. He's asking her, yes, George Floyd. He put the gun to the pregnant woman's stomach. They done assaulted the woman. They done hemmed her up. She don't want to tell him where, I guess, the drugs and the dope are. So then he put the gun to her stomach. He tell her he gonna shoot the baby if she don't tell him where the guns and the dope is. This is George Floyd now. Y'all done made him Jesus. Y'all done made murals about him, putting up statues. All this for George Floyd. Protect Black women, Black Girl Magic, all that. But nobody cared about what George Floyd did to that woman who was a victim of his crime. Now, y'all do know that George Floyd's criminal activity was against our community. He didn't go to the white folks and do it. He didn't go to the white neighborhood and terrorize them. He terrorized our community. So what I see the biggest issue with all this stuff is accountability. Like you said, it's accountability.
Yo, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Alan in the chat room said he really did. Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And if somebody in the chat room said, look how the Black community reacted on George Floyd's death versus Kevin Samuels. You have people praising the death.
Think about how crazy it is for Kevin Samuels to promote marriage in our community, to say we need to get married, to tell our women to stop being baby mamas, to tell people to work, get a career, get a trade, get a skill, to invest your money, to make. Think about all the stuff he said. And then when he died, we celebrated. What is going on? So it's beyond accountability. Beyond.
Like I said earlier, we celebrate the degenerates of our Black society more than the people who are upstanding. Like somebody in the chat room said, okay, so we'll celebrate, we'll say like a George Floyd, or make this lady a martyr, but somebody like Ben Carson's a coon.
I saw somebody in the chat talking about Ben Carson being against reparations. So my question is, what do y'all plan to do with reparations? What do y'all plan to do with it?
Give it right back to the white people they so-called hate.
So why would he be for reparations if he knows y'all are going to give up every leg you're standing on? If they cut you a check for reparations or give you some land for reparations or whatever they give you, you won't be able to complain about racism no more. It'll be a dead issue because the compensation for all this racism would be reparations. Once you get it, you're not gonna be able to say anything. So I don't think y'all are really ready to not have any more excuses. I don't think y'all are ready for that. I don't.
Right. So basically, we get reparations. We can't make any more excuses, but we still gonna make excuses though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody said Jordan and Hennessy stock going up. Oh man. So guys, hit that like button again. Hit that like button. So Blanche, me and you are both in Atlanta. Are you still in Atlanta?
Yeah,
And you've been in Atlanta for a while now, like me.
yeah.
Would you say Atlanta's progressing or regressing?
Oh, stop, 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 stop. I give Atlanta about maybe 10 more years, and it will no longer be that. It will be like all the other cities in 10 years. Detroit, Chicago, Baltimore. It'll be like all the other cities. It won't be any. It'll be just like them. You know, I've seen Atlanta do a sharp decline, especially in the last 2 years. The crime is going up. They want to defund the police, but let the criminals free him, free so and so, free them. Even though they spinning the block, murdering, mayhem, destruction, free them. Yeah, it's pretty much it's a done deal. Atlanta, it's a done deal.
But I thought Atlanta was the black Mecca.
That's the problem.
What happened? Like what happened?
That's the problem. You
Go
know, and
ahead.
I know the more of a city, the more the city has of us in it, the more of us is in the city, the worse off the city's going to be. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of black culture. Because black culture says, I don't care if you had a gun. I don't care if she rock. Like that's like, so black culture is so flagrant and unaccountable to where we would shame Lori Harvey for giving diet tips. So look what we do. Lori Harvey gave her diet tips, and the women is upset with her. Women are saying they want to get married, and they call pygmies. You know, guys don't want to get. Think about what black culture is. So it's almost impossible.
Hey, gas them up. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Dynast? You can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, the brother's spot on. And as a so-called immigrant, the problem is that, when people, I just wanted to put this out there. A lot of times, especially from the African perspective, a lot of them, Dynast, you've been around them. A lot of them are conservative in their home countries. They're the wealthy ones who get to come here. They don't even go to the, ghetto neighborhoods in their countries. So when they get over here, they're definitely going to tell their children not to associate with, certain behaviors. And then keep in mind, they're not taught the real legacy, the inventions, the historical things that African Americans have created throughout the years. So it's just this, it's interesting. But like I always say, I think that it's gentlemen like yourselves that have to bring order, have to somehow find a way to bring order in the community, in real structure and real leadership. And I'm not talking that, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson type. I'm talking like what other communities have, where it's like, them young boys got to listen to you and them young girls got to listen to y'all. But what I see in this system, they undermine it. Like you guys mentioned with Kevin Samuels, he wasn't really saying anything necessarily terrible, but look at how they celebrated this guy dying for no reason. So it's crazy.
I want to say somebody made a comment. Somebody made a comment in here. I just want to address real quick. So someone said that this black conservative trend is so lame. Now, what's funny is all of the heroes in our culture that we celebrate and have made martyrs and idolize, they're all conservative. Every last one of them. Every last one of the people that we put on the pedestal from our community from back then was conservative. So it's just funny to me that now conservatism is bad when that's literally what your grandparents were. Your grandparents were conservative. So I'm trying to understand, how is that a bad way to live life? Because what they've done is they've promoted the media promoted what was it, Cracker Culture, that book. So when you look at, from, like you said, the 1960s, and then as soon as blaxploitation hit with Melvin Van Peebles, and I guess he meant well, but he opened up Pandora's box. Yeah. And so now the imagery of our people in the media has presented, went from the afro to the slick back, and you had to put the sheen, and you had the Jerry curl, and you was pimping, and you was doing this. So it just, this was done purposely, and it was targeted. They attacked the imagery, and then they started putting in government policies in place to ensure
that the family would be separated. And the fact that none of these people talk about it is crazy.
If I can ask something real quick. So somebody in the chat room said they're making fun of Lori Harvey now. The reason why they're making fun of Lori Harvey now, so she's, I mean, for the most part, she's an industry chick. Future. I mean, what other rappers was she with?
She was somebody older. She was somebody older, wasn't she? Wasn't like
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
Well, the Puff Daddy and Puff Daddy's son.
Yeah.
Finds a good guy like Michael B. Jordan. Good guy, nice guy. And that's part of the reason why the Black community is in the situation that is in now. The nice guy is considered lame and undateable, but they want the bad guys like Future.
But Dynasty, I think it.
But hold on, guys. But don't marry a guy like Michael B. Jordan. Good looking guy. Pause. No homo. Good guy. Don't commit to a guy like that. But go back out to the streets where you can have fun with Future and P. Diddy and his son. Like, we made the nice, and that's another reason why the Black community is failing. We made the nice guy the bad guy. But the bad guy is the good guy, or the most attractive.
Well, I think the real person to blame is Steve Harvey. Because at the end of the day, when you have a daughter, what are you doing as a father? And this is what I'm saying. Like, these men have no control. If Lori Harvey's father was from Yemen,
gas him up. Let me interject. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
No, it's good.
Steve Harvey's not Lori Harvey's father. Her father was a dope boy from Memphis
in prison.
Oh, I know. But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is,
that's a stepdad, I guess, but that's not her father. But go ahead.
Even if I'm the stepdad, you're gonna follow the rules and order. Look, listen. If her father was from Yemen, or if her father was from Ogun State, if her father was from another, it wouldn't go down like this. There's rules and order and regulations. You got to follow the structure. And the fact that in this country we tell the young girls that, hey, it's okay to just live loose and run free. If you don't have that type of order and control, I don't know how you're going to be able to, she should have been married off by now. That should have been an arranged marriage.
Nah, but Gassima, what a lot of these sisters are saying is that she's too young. She needs to go live her life.
Of course.
And go do her. That's the thing now. Go do you. Go live your life. Marriage is overrated. Having children is overrated. That's what they're teaching.
Yeah, don't be a pig in
our community. Yeah, don't be a pig.
Well, they only can say that because they're in the West. Because if all else fails, you can always rely on the state. But when you don't have a state to rely on, you don't have that luxury. But again, it's only, listen, look, do you hear Amish girls saying that nonsense? Like, look, man, these people, it's the blind leading the blind. And that was one good thing Kevin Sam was able to pinpoint. A lot of these older women who made terrible choices are very angry and bitter. And so then they lead the other ones who they lead them down that path of silliness. That's what ends up happening. Unfortunately. But I want to ask you, gentlemen, something with the topic of the show, with the gentleman who passed away, unfortunately. Because Tariq and these guys like to paint this narrative. And then when I look at Nipsey Hussle, who's an immigrant, right? He's a tether or whatever he is. He was killed by ADOS FBA. How come Tariq isn't talking about that?
Because him and Tariq were boys. That's probably
who Nipsey.
Well, yeah, Nipsey was cool with Tariq.
So why is he?
But again, he can't paint the narrative that like me and Free Blanche technically we're ADOS FBA by definition, but we realize that the issues are eternal. Like, we can't blame immigrants, we can't blame the white man. Again, it's a lack of accountability. Like, we're accountable. Like, the problems are eternal, but again, the majority of our community. If the minute you start pointing out the eternal issues, you're called a coon, you're called a sellout. Oh, the white man created the conditions. I mean, think about it. Every other community gassed them up. I was listening to this Chinese rapper the other day. If you get caught selling crack within the Chinese community, they will kill you. Meanwhile, you ask a black man, like, why would you sell this poison in our community? They got every excuse in the book.
The white man.
The white man, And see, and gas him up. I used to be ultra liberal. I supported everybody's issues. I blame the white man for everything. But it's like if I see so in Chicago, the violence, the excuse was that the white man used to place crates of guns in these alleyways in Chicago. Now, me being a civilized black man, if I saw a crate of guns in an alleyway in Sacramento, where me and Blanche is from, I'm not, the first thing to my mind is not, okay, I'm gonna get this crate, get these guns, and go kill Blanche. Like, I mean, but think about it. You got people in our community. Okay, the white man put the guns there. Don't fucking pick them up. Like, don't pick them up. Okay, he put crack in our community. Okay, don't cook the shit up. Like, don't do it. Like, we got an excuse for everything. And that's the problem. We don't want to address the shit. We don't want to address it.
No, I think people want to address it. I just think the truth of the matter is, if gentlemen like yourself took the necessary steps to address it, I mean, look at what they did with Ice Cube. Even though I'm not a big fan of his, but when he was trying to at least, take a role as a leader and as a male authority, who were the people that they sent after him? They sent a bunch of women to come after him and say, "Oh, how dare you speak," and blah blah blah. And he was just on there capitulating instead of telling them, "Look, man, I don't care what y'all say. This is what we're gonna do, and if you don't like it, then look." I'll be honest. I think it just as an outsider, I think the community over here, the FBA, ADOS, whichever one, has to start trimming the fat, and that might mean cutting off some cousins. That might mean cutting off some, the person's own blood brother. If that person is not aligning with the behaviors that you guys want to be the behavior of the community, you're no longer a part of us. You're not with us. You may look like us, but you can't shoot up 10 people and come back after doing a 20-year bid talking about, man, I got caught up. Or singing, I was Big Meech, selling poison, then you come back after 20 years. No, you're not a part of us. You look like us, but you're not one of us. We are the epidemic tribe of Atlanta, and we behave like this, we conduct like this. This is what we do. If you go against that, you're not a part of us. And I'm hoping that could be created, because it would really weed out a lot of the nonsense.
I just wanted to say, there was a comment where someone said that being conservative got us nowhere. So I had an argument with my cousin, and he said that slavery ruined the black family. And I said, well, it's funny because when we were enslaved, we got married almost 100%. I said, and then we honestly got married the most in the country up until the 60s. What happened in the 60s? The civil rights movement, integration. So at the end of the day, slavery didn't ruin the black family. If you think about it, post-slavery should have been the most brainwashed time for our people. We were fresh out of slavery. Y'all love saying the oppressor, what they call the Stockholm syndrome. All these things should have been fresh in our community post-slavery, but yet and still we made the most advancements from the moment slavery ended till about 1970. So the problem with our community is they're telling us what ruined us was slavery, but it's not true. What ruined us was all these social ideologies and policies that they pushed on us, from feminism to the welfare state. This is what ruined our community. And so those things are counter being conservative, because a conservative family is going to do what? Not depend on the government. So the fact that we embrace depending on the government as a culture is a problem. Someone in the chat said, well, gang culture isn't black culture. It's not. If I ask someone, show me a blood, it's going to be someone that looks like us. If I say, show me a Crip, it's going to be someone that looks like us. If I say, go to music, artists, who black culture, again, is the problem. So it doesn't matter if a person is from Africa, no matter what country they're from, if they embrace black culture, it's going to be a problem, because black culture doesn't believe in accountability. So that
can I ask you a question, brother?
Go ahead.
Would it be difficult to kick them out? Like, and what I mean is to say, like, would it be difficult if gentlemen like yourself and people who are serious minded say, you know what, look, man, you can be whatever you want to be. You're not following this, you ain't one of us no more. Is that a difficult, thing to do?
It's almost impossible, because Black culture, again, it elevates the deviance of our culture. It elevates those that are doing wrong. So think about it. How did trap music take off? How did drill music? Think about it. Trap music was about selling dope. Drill music is about killing. How do these genres of music take off? How is it celebrated? How are we going to places endorsing? Think about it. Kamala Harris is taking pictures talking with Lil Baby. Joe Biden is sitting down talking with Cardi B. This is what our people want to see. We should have been insulted. We should have been like, Joe Biden shouldn't have got elected on the fact that he had a sit down with Cardi B. So at the end of the day, the people that are damaging our community are the ones we elevate. I literally saw them make Jesus George Floyd. They literally painted, they said, this is George. They had looked like a transgender Mary holding George Floyd. So at the end of the day, this is the problem.
That was no, but again, I'm just saying, like, I agree with you, but would it be difficult to say, okay, that's cool, that's who you people are, you're not one of us? I think that's what has to happen. People have to start drawing the dividing line. It's going to be difficult. That means, somebody cousin can't come to the family barbecue no more, but no more excuses. If you were, whatever gang you were and you sold dope for 20 years, bye, go away. We're not with you no more. See you later. Is that hard to do, to kick them out?
Yes. And I will say it again, it's who we celebrate. And the problem is, if Ben Carson is a sellout and a coon and George Floyd is Jesus, I don't know how we rectify that. I mean, if Cardi B is speaking for our people, I don't know how we rectify that. The fact that Nipsey Hussle was gunned down in a black neighborhood in front of his own black business, if that isn't the most glaring thing for us to look at, like, he literally got killed by his own people in his own community.
He's an immigrant that got killed by FBA, and Tariq doesn't say anything about this.
So just think about, but even aside from that, from just a simple standpoint, he got murdered improving the community. He literally brought resources to the community, and he was murdered in front of his business because he said that someone might be a snitch. Like, this is insane.
It is insane. I agree.
I just don't know how we get past that. I just don't know how we fix it.
I say we start creating tribes. If they listen, I'm gonna be honest. If they can come up with a bunch of, no disrespect to them at all, because they but if a bunch of dropouts in California can create a gang in different tribes called Bloods and Crips, then I think some of the educated amongst your groups should be able to create their own tribes and say, you not one of us. Tribalism. There's nothing wrong with that, especially during these times. Real legit tribalism. This is our tribe. Because think about it, right? Du Bois wrote the Philadelphia Negro, right? Which tells you that at that time, the Negro in Philadelphia had a different, distinct behavior from the behavior of, let's say, the Alabama or the Birmingham Negro, which was different than the, Texas Negro. Mm-hmm. So each Negro at the time had different behaviors and different patterns that were occurring throughout the United States. But what's happened, and this is, I'll keep it simple, but what's happened is that they've created tropes and universalism, right? Where they promote standards and templates for, like you said, so they elevate nonsense within the community. So now, if you guys notice, all the kids talk the same. They all say on God, bruh. They all say on folk them. All the kids. Whereas before there was differences, there were regional differences. But now it's like all the children are talking the same. They're all saying the same reference point because exactly they all dress the same. They all look the same. So what they're doing.
One second, guys. When I was in California, the way we dress was completely different from when I moved to Georgia. Completely different.
Right.
Now everybody does the same. Is all the same.
Yeah, and that has to me, the educated amongst the FBA and ADOS need to say, you know what? We creating new tribes. We creating new ideologies and new, again, tribes, for the lack of a better word, or ethnic groups, however you want to call it, to say, look, this is us. So if you want to be Hebrew Israelite, more, whatever you want to be, I'm not, against it. Niji, right? Dynast is Blackfoot because his feet are black. Whatever he wants to be that. But these are the rules, these are the guidelines, and this is how we conduct and organize ourselves. This is how we behave in this particular region. So if you come in with that, oh God, bro, that Cardi B, little baby stuff, oh, that's great, thanks, that's cute, but you ain't want to see you later. And I think that's what should be done.
But how do you fix when it comes to politics? Because what the Democrats have mastered is they've mastered emotional manipulation, and they've mastered putting people in front of us. Like the new Speaker of the House, she got on TV and said, "I'm a gay woman. I'm gay. I'm black. She just going on this on her soapbox talking about what she is, and then because she looks like us, we're like she's one of us, but technically she's not. For first of all, we're so pro-black when it comes to the men, but these women in our community, she got a white wife with a white baby. She ain't got a mixed baby. She got a white wife with a white baby, and nobody's saying nothing. Kamala ran. Think about this. Kamala ran with a white husband. Do you think it would have been possible for one of us to have a white woman and get endorsed as the vice president? And so the problem is not only is black culture not accountable, but it's also hypocritical. So at the end of the day, we pro-black one minute, and then the next minute we singing WAP in front of Joe Biden. Like to me,
well, that's what I'm saying. It could be done, like I said, because now I think, for example, what Kevin was doing, what other people are doing, what Dinas, Brandon, yourself, I think it can be done where you start putting start putting flesh to the corpus, right? Look, this is what we are, whatever the identity is, and this is our code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we vote, this is how we conduct ourselves. So now when you come and you look like us, you no longer a part. You can't just be, part of the noise in the back, but you can't just be brought in front of us, because it's like, okay, that's great, they look like us, but they're not us.
Hey, gas them up. Let me Mufasa, go ahead, Mufasa. Unmute yourself. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is cool in Benin Republic. Go ahead. Mufasa. No, we lost him. All right, go ahead, Gassimo. Go ahead and finish.
Yeah, no, that was it, man. I'm gonna let somebody else come on, man. I just want to put that out there. I'm hoping that ADOS, FBA, whatever you want to identify yourself as, start from home, build your own tribes, real legit tribes. Look at other people and copy what they're doing. Like I said, the Amish give templates. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have to segregate yourself from other people, even people that look like you. That might mean, unfortunately, your own blood brother, your own blood sister might not be able to be a part of this new tribe, and you have to just cut them loose. If you are more interested in twerking at a gas station or putting a colored rag on your head and screaming upsets, then that's great. You have every right to do that, but you can't be a part of this new thing that we're trying to create. And I think that has to be done. Just pure tribalism, and that
Guys,
creates distinctions.
Guys, hit the like button.
Giannis, thank you.
No problem, brother. Thank you for joining. Guys, hit the like
All right,
button.
free lunch.
all right,
Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Click on the link if you want to call in. You're more than welcome to call in. I know Alan, click on the link and call back in, Alan, if you can. I was about to let you on, but you had you logged off. But links in the chat room. Nipsey was the FBA by parent lineage and raised in American culture.
Yeah.
No, but no, hold on. Trey, per Tariq, if one of your parents are not FBA, you're not FBA. He just got on. I just listened to him get on this Haitian girl. Well, she's half American. Her father was Black American. Her mom is Haitian, and he made it seem like she's a tether. She's not FBA. I'm just going off of Tariq. And Eric Holder was from Belize. No, Eric Holder was born in LA, buddy.
Right. Hey, listen, Dinas, I'm gonna tell you something that's the problem. My boy was in a chat and he said that here goes the issue with issues that we probably have with Africans. He said he was in a clubhouse chat and they were arguing about Africans saying they were Black, and then Black people in America saying y'all not Black. And so they get to arguing, he said finally someone came out and just said it. Say, listen, because you all come over here and do so well, you make it seem like we don't need assistance from the government, meaning we don't need reparations because we're doing so well. So that was really the main reason why they don't want, there's a competition between African and Black. And so to me, it actually makes sense because most people that come from other countries, when they come over here, they don't adopt Black culture because they already have their own culture. And so, and when they do adopt Black culture, they usually suffer for it. But I just thought it was telling because to me, this whole Black African feud thing, I mean, I get it, but at the end of the day, to me, it's just the fact that it's just more, it's competition. Because when they come over here, they actually have a goal. We're just over here kind of just existing and just,
right,
you know, claiming we're oppressed.
So, Frequency, let me ask you this. So when Black Americans say that the African immigrants or the Black immigrants don't integrate, refuse to integrate within Black society, like what Black society is there to integrate into?
Why would they want to? Like, honestly, think about it. If I had a choice, think about it. Why would I want to integrate into a society that literally says, we don't care if the person is wrong, they shouldn't get in trouble? Like, why would I even subject myself to that kind of, I wouldn't do it. I don't blame them. I can't blame them at this point. I can't. Somebody said, what is Black culture? Well, there is Black culture. You know, Black culture is voting Democrat. Black culture is a culture of non-accountability. Black culture is still heavily centered around the church. I mean, there is such thing as Black culture. I mean, Black culture is your roots are just slavery. I mean, there is Black culture. You know, if you don't believe me, you can go to any Black part of town in any city, and you're gonna see the same things.
All right, go ahead, Alan.
Hey, yeah, sorry, I lost you guys before. What I wanted to say was that, you know, Black people, our nature is that of a conservative. Our very nature is that of a conservative. And that's me saying that even as somebody who votes left or center most of the time. All the Republicans would have to do is to go ahead and acknowledge a little racism, and you know, say, yes, there's police brutality, but we're doing this. And I'm willing to bet you that they could peel off 50% of the Black men and about 20% of the Black women.
Alan, let me interject. Sorry to interrupt you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump came to Atlanta, Georgia, and said, listen, Alan, and said, I got $500 billion for y'all. What's up? You know what Black folks did? We gonna go to the white man that says, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. Alan, he here in Atlanta, he came, you know, he wasn't also politicking, jiving. He was just talking straight up, no teleprompter, no notes. What's up, Black? What's up?
I agree.
He said several times. Listen, I mean, Alan, listen, he said, Black Americans, you guys built this country. Acknowledge that.
Yes, he did.
Several times.
He
on
did.
Camera. Not on some, you know, in some back alley or some little back office, on camera. Black Americans, you built this country. Then he said, Black people, I got $500 billion for y'all. What's up? What you got to lose? What's up? You know what Black people did? I mean, it's just
we are conditioned. We are conditioned to we aren't pro-Black. Like I've told you guys before, we're not pro-Black. We're pro-Democrat. And so because we're pro-Democrat, we feel that that we almost have to get permission from liberal whites to figure out what cause we're able to support, what cause we're not supposed to support, which is a horrible place to be. Again, the two things I pointed out were if they would acknowledge systemic racism, and if they would simply go ahead and say, yes, there is a small problem with police brutality, and we will hold those officers who do it accountable. Not because again, police brutality is not our number one issue, not by a long shot, right? But in order to peel people off of the Democratic rolls, if they just simply did that, right? And then you could educate people and point out the Moynihan report and show them how how the democratic cities and institutions have led to the downfall of the community post-slavery. They could easily peel off, like I said, 50% of the black men and a good 20-30% of the black women who want to go over and be conservatives. What do you guys say about that?
No. I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example of why it's no. Okay, you said police brutality, right?
Yes.
But there's police homicides in every community. So the problem with police brutality as a narrative is they only show you one group of people being killed by the police. Why? Why are they not? So the whole notion of police brutality, that notion would lead to someone never leaving the Democratic Party. And so what I'm saying is because we don't read and research and get these the data and the numbers, we run on narratives and talking points. So the main issue with our people is we don't want to do our due diligence. We don't want to investigate a candidate. We don't want to see their track record. We don't want to see what they're involved in. What have they done? None of this stuff. There's no way in the world, if we had did an inkling of research on Joe Biden, we should have voted for him or Kamala Harris. But we did, based on narratives, based on talking points, based on conjecture, based on nothing factual. So what you're saying now is you're saying that Donald Trump had a platinum plan. Even Ice Cube said, I'm willing to meet with the Democrats and the Republicans. Joe Biden and them said, we'll meet with you after the election, and they still haven't met with him. Trump's team said, let's meet with you. We'll meet with you right now and give you $500 million. And we still chose Joe Biden. So at the end of the day, I don't know what you want these people to do. We're not going to do it.
Again, but what I'm saying, I think I agree with you. But the point that I'm making that I think you're missing is that there has to be an outreach and has to be a degree of education to at least point people who are willing in the right direction to figure these things out.
Alan, man, I'm sorry to interject.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No,
Alan, this is the problem. Our people are just so far gone, Alan. Donald Trump, what was it, Free Blanche, where he brought the black, like the black group to, like the black conservatives to, or whoever, to the White House, the black leadership.
Yeah.
He brought nothing, like just the black community. I forgot what the name of the group was. He brought them to the White House, sat down, talked to them. What you guys need? But our people caught them coons for going to meet with Donald Trump. Donald Trump met with Jim Brown. Jim Brown, who does a lot for the black community in LA, called him a coon. It's like every black, but the thing is, Alan, every black person or black group that went and met with Donald Trump got what they wanted. Every single one. Not no red tape. Not let me check. Not no red tape. Not no. I gotta check this out. I gotta make this phone call. Every black individual, every black group that met with Donald Trump, he signed off on whatever they wanted.
Even Van Jones. Van Jones.
No, you guys are correct about that. Again, over the course of the past 50 years, we've been conditioned to believe that the Democrats have our best interests at heart, and that if we only vote Democrat, that is the most pro-black thing to do. And that is a lie. So what it requires is the same way the Democrats were able to condition our community to accept that. I think people who are more along the conservative line, whether you're Republican or not, but lean conservative, have to have some sort of outreach and reach those people, because everybody's not stupid. I just really feel that if we put out copies of the Moynihan report and people actually read it and actually understood what was being said, and you had a little bit of outreach in that manner, and like I said, acknowledge systemic racism, acknowledge, yes, police brutality, explain to you.
I'm sorry, Alan. In 2022, systemic racism is not the problem. I'm sorry.
Again, these aren't number one problems. What I'm saying is, the simple acknowledgement would be enough to bring people over to the conservative side. That's all I'm trying to say.
I don't agree with that, brother. I think our biggest. What do you say?
Go ahead, Dave. I'll say him no way. Go ahead,
Dave. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I personally agree that our biggest problem now is disparity, when it comes to like crime in our community, and then also the degeneracy problem that we promote in our community. In our community, it seems as if when you compare us to like the white community, the Latino community, everything like that, they have hold on one second.
All right. Well, while he's getting himself together, again, what I'm saying, I'm not disagreeing with you guys. All right. I think the presidency of Barack Obama is what opened my eyes to a lot of this. Right. I thought all our problems were going to go away once we voted for Barack Obama. That did not happen. As a matter of fact, a lot of problems that we're dealing with today intensified and became worse. And we went ahead and we turned on Tavis Smiley and Cornel West when they were trying to tell us this very early on in the presidency. We completely turned on those people. Those aren't conservatives. Those are people who just were calling a spade a spade. So again, what I'm saying, and I'm in education, so maybe this is part of my bleeding heart coming out. You got to educate people as to what's been going on so that they can finally take the blinders off their eyes and see what's going on.
Listen, they don't want to be educated, Alan.
It's not possible.
Alan, I hear what you're saying, Alan. You're being very rational. Like they don't listen. Okay, I give you another example, Alan. The comment that Donald Trump made about the shithole countries. So I carry 2 African passports. I'm a citizen of 2 African countries. And people like Dynast, why would you vote for Donald Trump, who may call the African countries shithole countries? I brought up the whole Libya and Obama situation. Mm-hmm. These people just refuse to acknowledge the role that Obama played in turning not just one country into a shithole, but several into a shithole. Because ever since Gaddafi was assassinated, all these weapons that the West gave to Libya got into the hands of these terrorists, and they're running wild in the Sahel. I pointed that out to him, and Alan, these people they're just Alan, they're brainwashed. It's because
they properly propagated people into thinking that this was a positive thing. They gave it a fancy name called Arab Spring, and told them that it was a great idea. It was a great thing going on. When basically. Obama pretty much brought back chattel slavery, if you really want to be honest.
Obama is just a blackface to colonization. That's all he is.
So again, Alan, I hear what you're saying, brother, but this, it's just, our people are stupid, Alan. We got a lot of stupid, educated people in our community. Stupid and just dumb and blinded. And I don't know how else to put it, Alan. I was trying to be nice. We just got a lot of just dumb, purposely ignorant, educated folks in our community. Go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say, a perfect example of this, Dynast, is that I feel like since we're talking about like you just brought up African stuff. Like if we can't even like develop, on a small macro level on like these largely black cities in America like Detroit, Jackson, Mississippi, Baltimore, Atlanta. If we can't make those beacons of success, I don't know how we would like make a country. Like I don't know how that would be possible, So, and the only people who are contributing, largely to the, what we would call, positive black image in America are largely African and Caribbean immigrants. And we as FBA, we try to like hijack that and say, oh, well, that's us, but it's like in reality, that's them contributing to us. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very much proud to be FBA, but we're not contributing to like the positive attributes. We're just contributing to the negative attributes for the most part.
Yeah, like I said, I have a bleeding heart side. I am a educator. I'm here in Baltimore City, and so I I see everything. Okay, so I'm not saying it out of ignorance. What I'm saying is, I have this sense of optimism where I'm like, listen, there's got to be a way for us to reach certain populations, certain people everybody can't be stupid, right? It could be half, it could, but it can't be most. I just have a belief that if we have outreach,
I don't know.
We have outreach to certain people and we present people with the proper information and the facts presented the right way, that we could get people turned the other way. And it will require some sort of a commitment from the Republican Party to do just a few small things, and I'm willing to bet you they can start peeling off black people off of the Democratic rolls. At least let them become independent like me, right? At least allow them to say where we can now sit around and think about who it is we're voting for.
Alan, okay, so to me, okay, look at what's happened since Joe Biden's been in office, right? Just think about everything that's happened. Now, if this was Trump in office, you agree that we would be going crazy if all this stuff happened under Trump, right?
Oh, I could give you specific examples of things that he has said that if Trump had said it, that whole gaffe and shot with China and everything like that, let Trump say something like that. He would be considered an existential threat.
So what's keeping our people from not holding Joe Biden accountable? When Trump was in office, I heard he got to go impeach racism, all that stuff for 4 years. So what's keeping our people from holding Joe Biden accountable when Joe Biden is literally doing everything they said Donald Trump was doing? Literally, he's actually doing it.
Because people are scared, and that's the thing that I've noticed. I think people are scared to even do what I'm doing, even as soft shoe as you guys think what I'm saying is, right? For someone in the black community to even say things the way that I'm saying it. You know, I've lost friends on Facebook and people and stuff that just for saying simple stuff like what I'm saying now. You know, how dare you even think to go in that direction? So that's why I'm saying, you know, you have to have people who are willing to come out and actually speak and you know, speak truth to power, basically tell the truth and have some sort of outreach. I think that's why I'm so adamant about the outreach component. You got to reach out to people and let them know what's really going on. That's to me, that's the answer.
I think the only way, brother, we can have in my post, I've thought this over recently. The only way we can have real political power, but also maybe awakening, would be if we all were in a geographical region of the country, not enough of this are we gonna live in the Midwest? We gonna live in the West Coast, the East Coast? If we all consolidated to the southeastern part of the United States, and we all had a similar political ideology, which I don't know if that's possible, but if we all did that, then maybe. But I'm kind of with Dynast, and the other brother Free Blanche. I feel it's without hope. Maybe 20% of us can, but we got too many, hood niggas and too many, hood rats in the community to keep it
Well,
silent.
see, Dave, when it comes to this part, it's not even really the hood rats and the hood Negroes. It's the educated, so-called educated black folks that are the problem. I deal with them. I went to University of Georgia. I graduated from SEC school. I deal with these folks. Everything that's going on right now in America, these folks will not hold Biden accountable at all. They will blame everything else. I mean, listen, the king or president of Saudi Arabia didn't even want to meet with Biden. And there's a reason why. Didn't even want to talk, wouldn't even answer his phone calls.
I know.
I'm being serious.
I know.
Send him the voicemail. And people don't understand that a lot of what's going on in America is poor foreign policy on the part of Joe Biden. But these folks won't even hold him accountable. They'll blame Trump.
But you can't hold him accountable.
This is another thing though. We should be able to tell how racist he is when it's just last year they wouldn't allow 10, 15,000 Haitians in, but yet they letting 100,000 racist Nazis in the country. Right. I don't understand that. They can come in, but the black immigrants can't. Right. Yeah, but you still think Joe Biden is a good dude? Okay.
Well, Joe Biden is. I mean, I'm in the Mid-Atlantic. I'm not far from Delaware. I'm aware of Joe Biden and his history of racism and making deals with Congress people from Mississippi and segregating schools, calling it a jungle and all kind of stuff like that. He has his own history, and people.
So, Alan, I got to ask you a question. Alan, I got to ask you a question. With knowing all this history, which a lot of black folks knew this history, why did you vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump?
Jesus, Lord have mercy. I don't know why.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Alan, you are the woke one, and you did it. So imagine what Alan, you know what's going on, and you did it. Imagine what they gonna do.
I agree. I agree. Listen, man, I had a little more integrity the first time around. I voted for Jill Stein the first time and refused to vote for Hillary. Um, I thought that Trump was such a I just don't like the man. I don't have any use for him, and it was out of a personal hatred and animosity towards the man that I voted the way I did. I have regretted it ever since.
But why though? Because Trump, like, I'm not even trying to hate, but like literally like 15 years ago, black people loved Trump. But as soon as he ran for president, he's the biggest white supremacist.
Because it's one thing for you to be, to be the guy on TV or to be the guy with the gaudy buildings. It's another thing for you to be the president. That guy shouldn't be president of the United States.
He talks like the average black man in America. He's just white.
Unfortunately. But that's besides the point. I'm just never. I'm big on decorum. Okay, I like politics to be done a certain way. I'm big on decorum, and how you act is important. Okay, now did I know that this man that we put in was just this senile? No.
Yes.
I
come on, Alan,
he didn't run.
No.
How are we supposed to know? He didn't run a campaign. He had sat and ran for president from his basement. How are we supposed to know?
Alan, which makes it even worse why you voted for him. He got your vote from his basement.
I know.
Trump was out there on his grind in the streets talking to everybody.
My man sat on the mask.
Listen, I was looking at these Democratic rallies. There would be nobody was there. Like, it'd be nobody there. Him and Kamala don't show up, or Kamala might show up. There might be 5 people.
They were social
that makes it even worse. And that's what me and Free Blanche are talking about. Like, you're woke. Like, listen to everything you're saying. You still voted for the guy.
I voted for the guy because I just explained to you why I voted for the guy. It was wrong. I get it. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. You know,
you believe the boogeyman of Trump. You believe that he was going to do all this, but I mean, what you didn't know is that Trump, he funded HBCUs for 10 years. You didn't know that Joe Biden, he reneged. He took all that money back. You didn't know that. You didn't know that Trump was going to build an HBCU in Detroit. You didn't know that, but
No, listen. Very true. I had no idea that this Biden administration would be this disastrous. I had no clue. I thought it'd be middle of the line. I thought I could hold my nose and just take the smell and allow and just let it ride.
We're about to turn to Venezuela with all this inflation.
Now this country is literally going down the toilet. We're sending money to places we have no business sending money to. This is bad. This is really bad. And sorry, folks. I don't know what else to tell you.
Hold on, this is another problem I have. Black folks been crying about reparations, and they've been talking about they don't have the money, but yet Joe Biden's able to send $55 billion to the Ukrainian Nazis on top of letting them come over here and give them a check. So I'm just trying to understand, like, I understand what you're saying, but reparations is an issue that Black folks been crying about for years. And then the moment we got Joe Biden in office, who can potentially give us reparations, he's giving the money to the Ukrainians, and we're not saying nothing. So I don't know what could a Republican say if the man that everybody said was going to save the world, Joe Biden, is literally giving their reparations money to some Nazis? Right. What can a Republican say?
Well, the Republicans are part of the problem too, because the ones in Congress were voting for that, that money to be sent over there as well, and that money shouldn't have been sent. That's just the bottom line of it. I think the Republicans, again, it would take a slight rebrand for the Republicans to reach into the Black community, and they can get the Black votes, especially among Black men. I just feel that in my spirit that's something that is possible. Biden has been awful, and Kamala Harris, I don't think anybody liked her from the beginning. But unfortunately, this man is extremely going downhill. We're watching him go senile in front of our eyes, and
he's already senile.
And there's a possibility that Kamala Harris, the one who couldn't win amongst Black people in her Democratic primary, will be could be president if he gets elected again. That Kamala Harris would end up finishing out his term.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So I mean that's and that would be really unfortunate because I couldn't for the life of me understand why he chose Kamala Harris. I thought he said he wanted a black woman. I thought he was going to choose Susan Rice. I thought that was a more logical pick.
Hey, Alan, does Susan Rice have a white husband?
I'm sure she does.
Does she have a white husband?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Let me look.
I don't
How
even
you supposed to be for the community if you dating the enemy? I don't understand it.
So I mean that's who I thought that he was going to go with. He did not. That was my first disappointment with Biden, and it's continued and going downhill from there. So, yep. But again, as far as our community is concerned, based on what we said earlier,
yes,
I think our problem is that we are very permissive. Okay, that's the word I would use. We're very permissive. We make excuses for it looks about right.
Oh damn! They're all bad wenches. What the fuck, bro? Like they let that man.
I mean, I didn't even know, and I just kind of say, yeah, probably. It looks about right.
Sisters was going in supporting Ketanji Brown Jackson, but I'm like, the fuck? Okay, she got a mayonnaise man. What the fuck she gonna do?
Yeah, we're permissive. We permit a lot of people to do a lot of things, and it starts unfortunately in the high school. So like in the high school that I work at, we allow these kids to do things that we would not serve them going forward in the world in any way, shape, or form. And then the second they cross that stage for graduation, reality hits them flat in the face that the kinds of things that we are doing and the kind of actions you're taking are criminal. And we're not doing them any favors by doing that. I will say that. I'm gonna let this Trina.
Go ahead, Trina.
I wanted to say that the problem with the Black community, in my opinion, we're talking about all this, the bad things that go on in the Black community earlier. I think the biggest problem is we let the problems go too far, and when it goes too far, then we want them solved. For example, let's start with the crack epidemic in the 80s. When we saw crack coming into our community, we should, as a community, should have said, we don't want this in here. We let the crack keep coming, and then when the crack came, here come the gang violence. Here comes the more prostitute. Here comes the brothers, dealing this stuff. Some of them dealing stuff. Now there goes the Black man going to prison. Now the home busted up. Now Black women are single parents because the fathers are locked up in prison thanks to the crack epidemic and the drug dealing. And when we saw all this stuff go down, we should have nipped it in the butt then. You don't wait till the problem gets out of hand, then all of a sudden you want something done. And also I want to say, this is what happens when you don't go for power. We never went for power. We stayed on the Democratic plantation, in my opinion, and went for what I call jobs, which stands for just over broke. And that's what we got. We got just over broke. We voted for Bill Clinton in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s. The three strikes, and we should have been like, wait a minute, hold up. 3 strikes? No 3 strikes. We need our men. And if Black women, and I'm just going to say this because I'm not into the gender war space. I'm not a pick me and a feminist. I'm not into that space. But if Black women really, really gave a damn, I don't understand why Black women back in the 90s, we didn't get together and say, we're going to get our men out of these prisons. Because there's no excuse for our men going to prison doing about 10 or 15 years over some drugs. Now, I understand doing about maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe, but after the 5th year, get out. We weren't trying to get together to get our men out of prison or trying to get some bills reform to stop them from going to prison. So we let all these problems get out of hand, and now we're complaining about the drugs, the guns, the violence, all this stuff going on in our communities when we should have nipped it in the butt back then. That's the same way we complain about the hip hop music. I'm from the 80s. I'm Generation X. So I grew up with Run DMC. I grew up with Salt Pepper, LL Cool J, Houdini, etc. Back then in the 80s, it wasn't none of that gangster rap, misogynistic rap. It was none of that. It was just rap that told a story, make you feel good, whatever. When the rap started getting violent, drugs, misogynistic, we didn't do nothing about it. We didn't put a stop to it. Now look at the hip hop music today. And then we want to complain. You don't let problems get out of hand, then all of a sudden you want to do something about it. You nip it in the bud. And that's all I wanted to say.
I agree. Somebody in the chat room made the comment that I guess the crack was profitable in the black. Oh, let me find this comment. But let me say this. Let me ask this, Free Blanche. All the money that was made during the crack epidemic, does the black community have anything to show for it in 2022?
No.
No, that money was seized. Even if you were one of the lucky ones who made it through and actually became Big Meech, or somebody like that, your assets were seized. And yes, you had some, but you had to keep it on low and shuffle money overseas. It's not money that's accessible or is able to be used in this country to help with anything. And
hey, but weren't we already messed up though? Because people always say the crack epidemic, but it's like I hear that and I respect the elders and what they're saying, but like at the same time, from what I've been told, from elders in my life, the black community was already messed up with the heroin epidemic and stuff. So I mean, I don't feel like the crack epidemic did anything. I feel like we was already gonna be messed up in the game.
Well, I think that the crack, if you look at the numbers, progress in Black America stopped at 1970. That's when all the progress stopped. We bought the most homes from 1940 to 1960 something. So like progress stopped, but the problem is right when the civil rights movement ended, here came the black exploitation films. So those did a number on us because we started letting the Jewish community dictate how black culture was going to be in our community. So they started giving us a whole bunch of images and we started actually following them and believing them. So by the time the crack came, the family structure was kind of almost damaged. You mentioned heroin, all those guys coming back from the Vietnam War. There was a lot of stuff going on during that time period. And then when crack came, it kind of almost made it go into hyperdrive. But I remember back in the 90s when the crack was huge in the 80s and 90s, the number one argument was we're not bringing it in the country. Not that we shouldn't be selling it, but the number one argument was we weren't bringing it in the country.
Hey, Free Black Flag. Who owns the planes? Who controls the planes?
So the problem is we've had a problem with accountability for quite some time now, not just now. We've been ducking accountability. The young lady is right when she said you couldn't have put crack in the Asian community. You couldn't have put crack in the Italian community. You couldn't have put crack in no other community but our community. And that's because we didn't have any standards, period. There's no way you could say, I'm gonna justify. It was dudes selling crack to their mothers. You understand how crazy that is? They were selling crack to their mama.
Exactly. And this is the thing. This is why I heard I seen this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying that poverty is not an excuse. Poverty is not an excuse for criminal behavior, right? And I feel like that too. And it's like there's a lot of poor white people that live in rural communities and like Appalachian stuff, and they may be on drugs and stuff, and they may like steal like pipes and stuff out your house, but they're not gang banging, they not shooting each other, they don't have a high homicide rate.
Right.
But we excuse poverty for degeneracy and stuff, and it's like just because you grow up poor, just because whatever, you grow up in the hood because your parents made a bad decision, because your parents, were not financially, adequate. But if you live in the hood 3, 4, 5 generations, that's your fault. You see what I'm saying? Like you should move out. Like my family is originally from Alabama, Mississippi, but we moved up. You feel me? Like how it's supposed to be. You ain't supposed to be stuck in the same position generation after generation after generation. I mean, you're supposed to move up eventually.
Hey, Major Mosby, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody, man? I completely agree with everything I've been hearing. Can y'all hear me well?
Yes.
No, you good. You
All
good.
right, cool. Cool. I just wanted to speak on my point was this, like, man, there are just so many guns in this country. And the fact that there's so many guns, you can arm an ignorant person, you can arm a negative individual, you can, try to talk and preach and talk to somebody that someone step on somebody.
Hey, Major, your connection's going in and out. Your connection's going in and out, brother. It's going in and out. Yeah, we're losing you.
Yeah, basically what I'm speaking on.
Major, I would say call back in when you're in a better space.
I got you, bro.
Okay, no problem. All right, go ahead, Alan.
Oh yeah. I was trying to get back in. Basically, all I was going to say was that that we're permissive. We permit certain things in our midst, and we become defensive people, where we defend out of reflex. We defend people because we think it's being caring, or we think it's being we feel like we're getting oppressed so much that we need to defend us because and the fact of it is we got to tell the truth about people like George Floyd and stuff like that. He was, yes, how he died was inexcusable. Okay, he shouldn't have happened, but he did a whole bunch of other things that led up to that led to different altercations and stuff like that, and it went the way that it went. We can't, and then his behavior before that was completely outrageous. I just think we can defend the George Floyds of the world, but we have to tell the whole truth about who he was and what it was that he did, and use him as an example of what we don't want. Because you live abroad for a little while, you realize that people are far less permissive of crime and criminality. And Brittany Griner is finding that out the hard way in Russia. So that is how crime is dealt with in other places. Just as a society, black, white, whomever, we've become permissive. People are too scared to say anything. We're too scared to say to even answer questions like "What is a woman?" or anything. We're scared, and so what happens is we're scared of being called sellouts and coons, and so we end up becoming the most permissive community, where everybody comes in and uses us as a doormat. And it's high time for us to get some standards. That's it.
I don't believe that we believe this whole America racist thing. And I'm gonna tell you why. What we complain about has to do with criminal activity. I've never heard anybody say, America won't let me be a CEO. America won't let me be a doctor. America won't let me be a lawyer. America won't let me be a scientist. We never complain about these things. So we only complain about America being racist when it comes to crime. You don't hear anybody black saying America won't allow me to be great. We got women saying they boss chicks. We got dudes saying they bosses and CEOs. So I'm trying to figure out, if America is so oppressive and so racist, then why isn't it preventing us from being great? Why is it only preventing us from doing criminal activity? And so to me, I don't believe we even believe it. I don't think we believe that, because there's no way you can tell me that America is racist, but Obama's able to slip through the cracks and be president. America's so racist, but Kamala's able to slip through the cracks and be vice president. And then we got all these CEOs.
With all due respect, I mean, I feel like you mentioned Obama and Kamala. I don't feel like those points are valid simply because they're not Black Americans, and I feel like sometimes they get preferential treatment. Like, do you think it's an accident that both of the so-called Black presidents are are not Black Americans? You
No, I don't
think
think
that's
it's
an
an
accident?
accident, but my point is we're claiming them though. So it'd be different if we didn't claim them, but we claiming them.
No, it
So
should-
so it's kind of a mixed message. If we're claiming them as Black and they're not, we're taking credit for them. We're celebrating them. So I'm trying to figure out how are we celebrating them, but then turning around and saying, oh, but we're oppressed. So like LeBron James saying he's scared he getting hunted down by the police. In Brentwood, it just like I just don't believe we don't believe this stuff because you've never heard someone say America is so racist they won't let me be a doctor. You've never heard anybody say that.
I've actually heard people say that in terms of corporate America that there are ceilings in the good old boy network. I've heard people say that in a variety of ways. But your greater point makes sense to me in that if you truly believe that you live in a racist society and a racist system, you certainly wouldn't be you'd be committing less crime because you would actually think that, well, these people are out to get me and this is all a trap. At least that's how I feel. The reason why I never sold drugs is because I think it's a trap and I don't want to go to jail. And so, the problem is the people who are poorest believe more in the system when they shouldn't. And the people who are richest, who have it better off, believe even less in the system than they really should. It's kind of inverse to what it should be. Rich people, you can talk to them. They don't believe. They are always wary of the system. Black people, we pretty much believe certain things, and we are the true believers of America.
well, also, brother, too. Like you gotta look at that. We have so many, like I said before, we have so many cities that we control that white people don't have they have no influence over our lives. Like if you was to get in trouble in Atlanta and Fulton County or in parts of Jackson, Mississippi, basically all of Mississippi for the most part, but Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Black people control the top to the bottom of the state, everything, the legislature, the everything basically. So if you was to get in trouble in those states, you cannot blame that on white supremacy when the judge you're seeing is Black, the district attorney is Black, the mayor is Black. I don't understand how you blame that on white supremacy. Like it's retarded.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
go ahead.
Well, go ahead, African Devil. Go ahead.
I just wanted to chime in on the general subject. The community, I think one thing we could do and what I'm working on now in the DC area with a lot of the younger, not like young, but young adult brethren, is just getting out and replacing activities that are fruitless, like watching the game, going out for drinks, things like that. And just getting involved with a lot of the organizations, whether it be the self-defense organizations in the area or the manhood programs, and just turning fun times into constructive times so that we as the brothers, especially like brothers like Brother Dynast, who are part of the nation building community as opposed to the conscious community, can really get out and help to better police our community while we're here. We're not all set to stay here, but while we're here, while we're experiencing these issues, we can help the same way with the Black schools do. We can help instill the right messages and train the youth, because we all know, like the George Floyd comment was brought up, and Brother George Floyd, he's a grown man. He was a lot of our elders, and not to say he was an elder, the term elder, but he was older than us. And so a lot of his ways were stuck, so we could harp on it, but we know why. We know why a lot of these things are. And we know that if we can catch more of the children early, like these discussions, just having them with younger brothers and younger children as we're doing constructive things, I feel like we would, like the sister advocated for, we would nip a lot of this in the bud. And yeah, a lot of it is already out of control, but all we can do is solve problems and prevent problems moving forward. So, just on this side of the fence, obviously Pan-Africanism is effective because it's dealing with, you know, power and resources and networks. But, you know, just getting the brothers active, I believe, in each area and dealing with the organizations who deal with self-defense and rites of passage, political education, and then, you know, doing healthy, constructive things, whether that be just going out and working with the younger brothers, cleaning up the community, whatever, you know, training, things like that. I feel like that's the key. That's why, you know, we having these circuitous discussions. But that was all. I just wanted to add that in.
Appreciate it. Hey, links in the chat room, guys. Link is in the chat room if you want to call in and add to the conversation. Click on the link. And also, guys, please hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. It's to the point now, and Free Blanche, she's in Atlanta with me. So when Trouble got killed, it was over a woman, and he was at this woman's apartment complex. All right. Guys, let me tell you about these apartment complexes in Atlanta. All right. These apartment complexes, I don't care how luxury they are. They are now cheap projects. They selling dope out the apartment complexes. They prostituting out of these apartment complexes. Like, I'm not staying at no girl's house in an apartment complex. I'm sorry. They breaking into your car, all types of stuff. Like, man,
I mean,
listen,
Diners, you know why that is, right?
But let me finish though before you interject. So, like, they got these new beautiful high rises, like in Atlanta, apartment complexes, beautiful luxury. And not to hate, and I want to watch my words very carefully, very, very carefully, because I don't want to sound like a hater. But I be saying to myself, like, how are these supposed to be qualifying for these apartments? Like, bro, I be like, I mean, they like $2,000, $2,500 and up a month. But the thing is, it's just 3,000 a month. And the thing is, the amount of dysfunctional stuff that be going on at these apartments, like they're selling dope, trapping, prostituting. I'd be like, how? And it all started in like 2007. I don't know what Blanche was here. Were you in Atlanta in 2007, Blanche?
Yeah.
Or 2006, or around then. So in Atlanta, there was the 12 building in Atlantic Station. That was like the first like high-rise luxury spot. I'm talking about they turned that into the dope spot. That was like New Jack City. What was it? Star Trek. What was the spot?
The Carter.
No, New Jack City. What did they call their what was the name of the Star
I thought
Trek?
it was the Carter. It wasn't the Carter.
No. It was what was the name of the spot in Star the main ship in Star Trek?
Enterprise.
Beaming up Scotty.
Enterprise. They call that. I think that's they call it New Jack City. Like, they didn't turn all these luxury apartment complexes here in Atlanta. They didn't turn them to the New Jack City Enterprise. It's crazy. I don't know how they did it. So, fellas, I'm telling you, like, do not be staying at these girls' apartments. I don't know how it is in other cities, but here in Atlanta, do not be staying at these girls' apartments because they be trapping, selling dope in Atlanta, stealing, robbing, car getting broken into. I do not stay at no chick's apartment complex. I don't care how luxury it is. But go ahead, Dave. Finish what you about to say, Dave.
I was gonna say, I think the reason why that could be, you know, just in my mind, you know, I'm not gonna try to do too much hate on us, but I feel like it's because sisters, you know, like they in love with thugs. I mean, I'm just sorry to say that's what it is, you know. So it don't matter like her income, like out here is I be moving all around, but in San Francisco and stuff, the mayor, you know, I know because I know some people that know her. She has a hood nigga boyfriend. Okay, right? Now you would think she's making money, all this and stuff. She wouldn't do that, right? No, that's what it is though, right? Now at that place in out there, I don't know if that's by Peach Street in Atlanta down there, but
yeah, all down, all up and down Peach Street, all up and down.
Yeah, up over there, yeah. They that's the same thing, you know, all these, you know, educated sisters and stuff that got good jobs and stuff. Well, they just dating hood niggas and stuff. That's, you know, that's fake drug dealers. They're not really making no money, but they up out there doing their little ignorant stuff. And I don't know why sisters feel like that. I don't know why they feel like, you know, well, I'm doing good, I'm gonna bring these folks with me. Same like when rappers get on and stuff, right? They get on, they want to bring all their ignorant thug family members, all their ignorant thug, you know, friends and stuff. It's like, you on, So you should distance yourself from that, but you still involved in that low vibration energy. You know, like if I get on, you know, if I make some money and stuff, I'm gonna distance myself completely from that. I already do it now, but I feel like that's the problem is that like black people, you know, we too connected to like to poverty culture. We feel like poverty is our culture, and it's like being in the hood is not your culture. That's how you grew up, but you can distance yourself from that. Being a thug and being a hyper aggressive is not black culture. That's degenerate culture. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I got a story that could back that up. I grew up in the city of Rochester, New York. And in Rochester,
hold on, Alan, is that the one where the mayor her husband got arrested for selling dope?
Yes.
Oh, my auntie from there.
Mayor Lovely Warren was in there. Nice, cute black woman, educated, has worked her whole life to do something, and she had a husband. Now she knew her husband wasn't a whole bunch of anything. She was trying to divorce him, but the brother didn't have no place to go, so she had him up in his house. And then, of course, he got busted for guns and drugs while she was mayor of Rochester, New York, and now she completely ruined her career, right? Because she couldn't stay away from the thug dude. She fell in love with the thug dude and married him. That I don't think there's any better example of that. And the thing is, if you hang around enough white people who, when they get rich and when they get put on, man, some of them, unfortunately, they'll disassociate themselves from their family. Their poor family get left behind. And that's not, and that we're encouraged not to do that. And that's, that to our own detriment.
We still do it though.
What do you mean?
As soon as we get, you saw what BLM did. As soon as they got they bought mansions in white neighborhoods. Like we do it, like everybody do it.
Yeah, but you see what the founder did, right? What did she do? She gave her dusty baby daddy $1 million.
Yeah, come on, gave her brother almost $1 million too. I'm like,
yeah. She want to make sure that she talking all this black shit, but is she trying to redevelop, the Compton or all them areas? No, she like, no, I'm gonna get a nice home in Hawthorne or something like that.
Nah, she was in the Valley. Like she was.
Oh, okay. She ain't even out there together.
She bought 4 mansions. She bought 4 mansions. Like, she bought 4 houses though, not just one. Like she bought 4.
I think she bought a house in Canada too, from what I heard.
Too. And bought that mansion in Canada. Yeah,
that was for the struggle.
For the struggle.
Hey, y'all, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. But yeah, brothers, listen, man, I don't care. Somebody said Trouble got shot in Conyers. Yeah, I know, but that's just these apartments in the metro Atlanta. It's just they cheek projects. They are cheek projects. So you go in, you don't stay the night. Yeah, these apartment complexes, they something else. They are. In fact, here in Atlanta, I think it was last year, you had the sister, the lawyer, that got killed by the Pookie in her high-rise luxury apartment complex off of Peachtree. I forgot the case, but it was she was a lawyer at a firm here in Atlanta. Her Pookie killed her in an apartment complex. I'm just saying, y'all, these apartments, man, y'all gotta stay away from them.
It's getting bad. My sister, she got a salon actually out there in Atlanta, but she live in Birmingham. She drive out there every day, and she said like Birmingham is starting to get real, real dusty too.
So, Free Flash, what is it, man? Because Birmingham, black mayor, Atlanta, black mayor. Oh, you kind of mentioned it before. Yeah, that's it right there. That's it right there. Show. Put. That's it. So, guys, what Blanche is showing you. This sister, lawyer, all right, beautiful sister, luxury high-rise apartment off of Peachtree. Her Pookie comes to visit her and murders her in the luxury high-rise apartment. And what I'm telling you guys, this Pookieism at these high-rise, expensive luxury apartments where you're paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That's where all the shit be popping off. You ain't safe. And Blanche, it used not to be like that. I don't know why. It was not. It wasn't like that. This just happened. Blanche, you gotta Blanche make it make sense. You gotta break it down.
I just think
how did it turn into this? The last, because you said a couple. I noticed this shit back like 2016, 2015. You said a couple years ago. Like, what happened?
I just think that Atlanta became the epitome of everything black. If you think about it, the music scene, Black Hollywood, like Atlanta just became the epitome of everything black. People started coming here. I don't know, man. I just think that Atlanta became black culture personified, and it's just out of control now. Even think about people getting murdered in Buckhead. Like that
You would have never thought about that.
never, never. Metal detectors at Lennox. Think about this: metal detectors at Lennox, dude.
Mall, but no metal detectors at Greenbrier.
Ain't that crazy? So yeah, man. Give Atlanta 10 years, it's over. 10 years.
Well, they're already about to succeed. Buckhead's already about to succeed, and it's gonna turn into Detroit. So
no. But Blanche, this is, and you talk about how black people aren't serious about racism. So the white racists in Buckhead said, "Listen, we want to leave." You know who was trying to block it the most? Black folks. No, you white racists, y'all ain't separating from it. Am I right, Blanche? Am I right?
Y'all gonna suffer with us. Y'all gonna suffer.
Blanche, am I lying? The white racists, so-called racists, were like, listen, we tired of Alice, we leave it. We separate from Atlanta, we leaving y'all. It was the black folks who were like, nah, y'all ain't separate. Y'all ain't leaving us.
If Buckhead leaves, we talking about 58% of the tax money is gone. Atlanta's done. If Buckhead
that's
leaves,
Detroit. That's Detroit. That's what it's gonna turn into.
Atlanta's done.
And what would the demographics then be? Would it be like a 98% black city then? Basically.
Dang, that's a good question. Shoot.
No, but with the gentrification going on in the city of Atlanta, it's still I don't know. I mean,
black people all over the country are still moving to Atlanta, so it's still,
white people are too, though.
Oh, I didn't realize it.
Yeah,
a little bit. Everybody's moving.
Everybody's moving. Yeah. Yeah.
But literally, and that's what kills me. Like they talk about these Trump supporters and these white folks and racism. The white folks like, listen, we leaving, we separate, we leaving. Let us go. It was black folks that was blocking it. Like, nah, y'all ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't going.
Do you want to see black folks unified? Let white people say we about to get on these spaceships and let y'all have it. And white people say we gonna let y'all have the whole planet and we leaving. Black folks, I'm talking about, they wouldn't let their spaceship take off.
If they left, bro, within a matter of 5 years, we gonna have a whole bunch of tribal shit. We gonna be.
It'd be a nuclear war, man. It'd be a nuclear war.
Within a week, we gonna forget how to run the water. And within 2 weeks, we ain't gonna have no electricity. Or if we do, it's gonna be some, them my folks over there, we got electricity for them. Then the ops over there, so I can't give them electricity. You know how niggas is.
Yeah, but Bunch, that's what killed me. I'm like, hold on. If the racist white folks want to leave, let them leave. Let them go. I mean, Atlanta's the black Mecca. It's the black Mecca. So why do you need these racist white folks?
Because you can't let them go because you need a tax base. You can't, and they don't want to. They don't want to cede land over to lose land for the city. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why. They can't.
Prime real estate.
Yeah.
But all the black celebrities there, why do you need white people? I don't understand. Why do you need white people if you have all the black rappers and athletes? Why do you need white people?
Do you see them actually, creating operations and helping anybody but themselves? I mean, that half celebrities in Atlanta are shoving all their money up a stripper's behind over at the Blue Flame.
I mean, supposedly last year, Lil Boosie was talking about he was buying a bunch of property. He said, "Yeah, I'm trying to make my own city, but I don't know if he's intelligent enough to
moving to Boosie City."
I'll move to Boosie City.
If any of y'all move Mayor Boosie, oh man, it's
Boosie City.
Boosie City, man.
I
Hey,
mean,
y'all,
but
link to
I
the
feel
chat.
like
Go ahead, Dad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I mean, if Atlanta fails, I know black folks don't like the cold. We don't want to deal. But I mean, if it fails, there's always Detroit. We can turn that. I mean, I always wonder like we could easily turn that if I actually read something a while ago that like there was some city councilman was actually urging black people from around the country to move to Detroit because he wanted Detroit to be like the black Mecca. But and Detroit is actually has a very high black percentage, had much more black people than Detroit than Atlanta. So I feel like if that failed, we could just move to Detroit. But we ain't trying to do that because we ain't trying to deal with the cold. But
Infrastructure is there. I mean, the only issue with Detroit is not so much weather. The problem with Detroit is there's not a whole lot of economic opportunity and industry going on in Detroit.
It's so cheap. I bought 2 homes there for $1,000 already, bro.
Yeah, no. Listen, you're absolutely right. But
For $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't know how cheap Detroit homes are, bro. Hella cheap.
They're giving them away.
Hold up, you bought 2 houses for $1,000?
Yeah, I haven't seen the inside of them yet. I bought it on Zillow, but yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. Easy. If you go to Detroit with $20,000, man, you'll have a whole bunch of money, and then you hope that the real estate picks up again. But again, the problem with Detroit is that you don't have, the auto manufacturing isn't what it used to be, and there's really no other industry there. So you'd almost have to go there with a plan to build an industry so that people can work in Detroit.
What's up, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we hear you.
All right. No, I'm just making sure. No, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, but Edward, it's kind of distorted, kind of like kind of.
All right. Yeah, I'm on my phone, so it's acting up, but it's still distorted.
Yeah, it doesn't sound clear. It's like a high pitch, like.
All right. I'll probably come back later, man. Like, listen, y'all can't hear me. Y'all can't like understand what I'm saying at all. Cause I'll just make one quick comment.
Let me just turn my volume down. That'll probably be better.
Is the rest of y'all the same thing as high pitched? My bad. It's on this janky phone.
We can hear you enough for you to hear a point, brother. So, go ahead.
All right, absolutely. I just want to say this. I mean, this is one of those things. Shout out to Dr. Clark Anderson, because as far as I'm concerned, he's pretty much the authority on stuff like this, as far as what y'all talking about. I don't want to. This is where you got to be real, but black people interpret that as being negative, and then they'll start playing the what's the solution game. The reality is, the fact that we're even talking about rappers, I'll say this. Rappers don't have the numeric count to do what you're talking about, because even individually they're individuals, and it's only so many taxes that they're gonna pay, and the ones that are smart has a team behind them that's gonna keep them from paying those taxes. And then they're going to push out other folks that have any kind of money of that level, even if they're not racist, that are not going to do that. That's what the Northeast is dealing with, because Connecticut and cities like that, property taxes and like out the yin yang. That's why people come to the South in the first place. So the rappers don't have the count. And the irony is, this is where your doctors, your lawyers, all of these people that people like to call lame, you need the numbers of people in a certain class level to be able to justify that. So telling people, like, if you were going to get rid of the white tax base, that would have had to be like a decade plan. Meaning you would have had to get black people strategically there. Like, the best time to do that for black folks would have been when black folks had the Olympics, when Atlanta had the Olympics, that time. And there was a lot more number of black people there. Also, the problem with Detroit and a lot of these other Midwestern cities is your Indians and your Asians are beating you to it. They are buying land, they're buying banks, they're buying a lot of these things, and they're taking as black people leave, they're coming into it. We're not even going to talk about the fact that America keeps putting a lot of these Arabs and stuff in Michigan and shit, all around Michigan, because nobody else really wants to deal with them like that. So this requires a level of planning and thinking that unfortunately a lot of ADOS black people don't want to do as a group, because this requires adhering to hierarchies. This is where all of those talented tenth and bourgeoisie blacks that black people have an aversion to, they would need to take point, and then everybody else would need to actually fucking listen, which is something that unfortunately our people have built a culture around rebelling against. So can it be done? Absolutely. Do black people have the patience for it to be done? As of now, no. Now, do we have a couple of places that we could build around? Sure. I'm not a big fan of Detroit because of what one of the brothers said. There's not an economy there, and that's something that we have to learn how to build up. Because you can't just have a couple of rich entrepreneurs go there and then think you're going to build them around that. It just doesn't work that way. You actually need industry, and that's something unfortunately that's not talked about. Or the people that would talk about it, like Robert Smith, they get shut down because they're sleeping with a white woman. So anyway, it's a great conversation, but it's just these conversations sometimes turn into. I'm not saying it's what y'all are doing, but it turns into, well, is there hope? And you have to understand what's really going on the ground. That's another. Anyway, I could say more, but I wanted to really say that because that's very important. So anyway.
Yeah, but I think when Dave made that comment, he was kind of being sarcastic as to the illusion of all this quote unquote black wealth. I think he was being sarcastic when he said it, but I mean, I agree
Sure,
with you
but a lot
100%.
of black people will believe that. I believe he was being sarcastic, but a lot of black people will take what he said at face value, and that's not Dave's fault at all. That's not his fault at all because I pretty much said that he can't be serious about that. But I wanted to go about explaining it because a lot of black people will actually take that and then say that's a viable thing. I like Killer Mike, but they'll actually see Killer Mike as an expert above a Dr. Clark Anderson.
Right.
So that's why I just want. It wasn't for him. It was for the audience and for people that may listen to it later. But Dynas tends to have a really smart group anyway, so maybe that's just me.
Brother, do you
I feel
think?
like go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, do y'all see any possibility in, like, because like a lot of people, we talk about and when I listen to the show a lot, they talk about the diaspora and us connecting and stuff and us unifying and not necessarily being so tribalist, right? But sometimes I think that maybe if we practice a form of tribalism, and maybe if not tribalism in the sense that, like, I'm saying, oh, FBA is better or this is better or that's better, but just in the sense that, like, if we basically breed out the degeneracy in our culture and we promote the positive, because I feel like in our community, I feel like everything that's negative is cool and all, like we get, like, the hood stuff is represented as the majority. Like listen to our music. The sister was talking earlier, talk about the 80s and the 90s and stuff, how it was more positive, and then it changed. Like, I don't feel like all of us are about that, but I feel like the negative elements of our culture gets promoted in such a way that that the intellectuals like us and stuff, we don't really have a voice, and we're looked at as lame for simply wanting to want something better for us. So I feel like we get, we don't really have an option to really do much for us. So what do y'all have to say about that?
Well, let me say. I'll say real quick. I think we spent last year, what was it, like $1.5 trillion? I mean, I feel like we can do a lot, but like Edward said, that we got to be disciplined. We got to take instruction. We got to work like the stuff that black culture doesn't promote. We got to do. So we could do a lot, but who's going to want to be the Indians and allow people to be the chiefs? Who's going to want to be the person and say, I'm willing to sacrifice here and put money over? Like, who's going to do it? So we can do a lot of stuff, but
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna head out. I mean, when people, I'm all about ADO's unity, and not ADO's unity because of from separating from other people, but we need to handle our own business. Like when you see non-ADO's folks, and I know this is sensitive on this channel, but when you, like, the shade room, whether it's women or men, when you see them at the top of our stuff, understand that that's our fault. They picked up what we put down. So this isn't blaming them. The opportunity was there. They seized it. That's on them. World Star Hip Hop could have been, even though that was started by a Caribbean, that could have been bought by any one of these rappers, and it would have been profitable. I'm not just putting it on rappers. I'm just saying people that got money. That could have been a tech buy, honestly. And that was what, $40 million at the time, and that's something that you could have pretty much bought a lot of black influence and terraform that into maybe something. But again, that was something that those people didn't do when he passed away. People forget that I forget the dude's name that sold BET. He offered it to black people, but black people exactly. Yeah, black people didn't want to buy it. Black people didn't want to take the risk. They wanted, and Bill Cosby wanted to buy NBC. I get that, but Oprah, he didn't just jump to sell it to white people at first, but he wasn't gonna wait. He was ready to sell. White people were ready to pay. He offered it to black people first. So my point is, but even with us, we can't even get I don't care what any of y'all say. I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, but we can't even get the gender unity on point. The reality is black people can't even be honest about that. And the reality, and if we don't have a social contract with each other as black women and black men, a lot of this other stuff doesn't work, because a lot of that $1 trillion spending power that you're talking about is mainly women hyper consuming. And that's part of the main reason that we're here, just to buy shit from everybody else. And by the way, every other group is going to fight you to stop doing that, because they know they lose out. Even something as simple as black women going to nail salons with other black women, so that completely takes black men out of it, so that removes the gender part. You'll have other women fight that, because that's money that's coming out of their pocket. And as black people, we have to realize that. I will say this to leave on the positive, though. Two cities, and I know I'm from Chicago myself, but two cities, always pay attention to what's the top cities for black people, because those are like the emerging cities. Like for instance, Charlotte and Raleigh are some of the very emerging cities. So it's always
Charlotte's a
cities.
hellhole, man. You kidding me? Charlotte's a hell.
Charlotte's a
Charlotte's a
hellhole.
hell.
What?
Charlotte has a high crime rate. You kidding me? The murder rate is out of control. Charlotte, North Carolina, bro.
I'll be happy to debate you on that on another plot. Because if you're comparing Charlotte to Detroit, I'm not even gonna go into that.
Let me tell you something. There's no black community in America that's safe. Prince George's County is off the chain.
I didn't say it was, but I'm saying a lot of times. Hold on, that's not my point. My point is, a lot of times when you hear black people talk about cities, they always talk about the old cities, the sexy cities. They don't talk about they're not talking about every city that people are at.
Let me ask you a question, Edward. Can somebody get a word in edgewise? Could it be that this is what I learned a couple of years ago, right?
Kyle, are you on like speakerphone?
Yeah, I'm in a restaurant. I'm gonna talk briefly, so I'm not gonna talk.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, we can hear you, but it's kind of hard on the speakerphone or whatever.
Okay, we'll check this out. There's a lot of people think that when you have these black neighborhoods and everything, you don't own them, right? You don't own them. You don't control them. The administration there, white or whoever, Mexican, whatever like that, uses a large congregation of black people, you automatically assume it's a black people, right? So the Pookie, now you don't have a homeowner association where you could deny people, okay, we don't want your type in here. That's what white people do all the time. It's the Mexicans do. They have their own people that they don't want in, they don't want out. Anybody could come in with money. That shows you how we have not advanced in this country, right? Where somebody who wants to raise their family as a CEO and a middle class and everything, some Pookie who's a drug dealer or rapper can move right next door to you, right? With his corrupting influence and everything. You have no thing. So it's not about money, right? We got to just find out who the hell we are. You know what I'm saying? Who we are. We don't want to do that. We want Killer Mike and T.I. to be our leaders talking about goddamn fucking bank, man.
It's deeper than that. Here's the truth.
Bro.
We understand. No, like, first of all, most people, black people, absolutely refuse to talk about culture. They don't want to do it because they understand that it's gonna lead to a certain conversation that's very inconvenient to have.
Yeah,
the reality is, black people,
the trap museum. How you gonna have a trap museum at the same time you're gonna talk about and audition for strippers and everything, and you're gonna talk about black issues? I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. They're lucky I'm not in the room. Your Apollo's in the room. I'll say, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Because the bottom line, we're too compromising because we're weak. We don't have those like, no, look, this is our community. T.I., Killer Mike, all you degenerates, you don't belong here. If you were having a conversation, I don't even want to hear about it. That's
Colin, you know what my problem is with what you're saying? and I'm gonna
Well,
articulate it right here. If the women say he does belong here,
well, that's
what
why the men. That's
and
why I say the
what you
men have to
gonna
get
do
together.
is you
The men
will
have to.
stand down. That's the problem. You
Oh
will
no, you don't know me very. You don't know me very well. You know, I
uh,
had people say, "Oh, I hate
same
women."
old
Well, I love
song.
my women.
It,
But the bottom line is,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
that's what we're gonna hear. You're not gonna hear "shut the fuck up." This dude is a problem. If you don't understand that, then you just about to get vetoed. We're gonna get the "We Love All Women" song because the women are the main one. The reason why you have a lot of that is because the dudes can
The
get clear on
claims.
who is best to get us from point A to point B. Most of the dudes can create a hierarchy around it depending on what needs to be done. What gets muddled is this gynocentric feminist BS that gets interweaved into it. And it's also, and by the way, I'm not gonna just put it on the women. You got a lot of dudes that validate that. So you got two people that's gonna come after you. You're gonna have the street dudes that's gonna come after you, right? And so I have no problem that you will meet that head on. I have no problem. I believe you would. But then you got the women that will operate in a majority that will back them up. Here's your problem. Your problem is you got a lot of
I
dudes
agree
that are
with you. I
productive.
agree with you.
The dudes that are
I agree.
productive, yeah. So here's your other problem. Rather than meeting that with an army of like productive black men, what a lot of productive black men are gonna say is if the women are on that and they're choosing them, fuck that. I'm either getting me a white woman or I'm going to a white neighborhood. Damn that. I'm not about to sacrifice myself since everybody's choosing that. So at the end of the I'm empathetic to it. So what a lot of dudes have to do is just like you gotta meet people where they are. But and I'm gonna say this and then I am done because I wanted to get to this point. This actually feeds into a solution of what you were talking about. One of the things that I really think that we need to do, and this is a pet project of mine that I'm gonna try to do once I get my money really on point, is we need to create a communications line with network with only black men. What do I mean
Yeah.
when I say that? Where is the one place that black men go where every black man knows a black man that goes there often? Can y'all name
Barbershop.
that for me? Exactly. We
Barbershop.
know all
Barbershop.
barbershops. We know all barber. There's about 30,000 barbershops in the United States. Black
Yeah,
barbershops. Black owned
but you
barbershops.
see,
Hold on, let me finish it
but
real
you
quick.
see now what's going on now.
Black, black.
Sisters are invading the barbershops now.
Yeah, yeah, I understand because I go to a barbershop I go to is have a salon. But what I'm saying is they're black owned and the vast majority, and they are owned by black men. Most of them. And so what I'm saying, they all got TVs. The TVs are all got cable, so they all got internet access. And so the point is, when you look at things like these Vizio keys, these Chrome keys, these Amazon things, there's ways to put apps on there in order to basically create that pipeline. And if we can, this is what the Hispanics do when they do their newspapers and all of that in Spanish, because they have language that really protects them, which is kind of why they're able to do what they do. We're able to create a advertising communication network on the ground with all of them, in which these conversations. I'm gonna have a different conversation than you might have, but the point is that's gonna be discourse that a lot of these dudes never hear because everybody's not on YouTube, everybody's not on social media. We build that, we can move a lot of this along. And regardless, and I'm gonna tell you, regardless of how people feel about Kevin Samuels proved that if you can get to escape velocity, whether people disagree, it can move stuff in a way, whether people agree with where it was going or not. It shows that if you can aggregate that enough, you can actually move something in a conversation that even if people don't want to have, they will be forced to have it. So I wanted to leave y'all with that because there are ways to do these things. And when you look at the cost of doing that and stuff like that, it's actually not as much as you would otherwise think. It's just somebody's going to have to seed something like that. And like I said, you do it as an advertising network slightly because it has to be a profitability thing for it. It can't be just something where you're doing on some charity shit because it won't sustain itself that way. You'd have to say, why would a barbershop, and I get it, you got some barbershops that are half salons, some of the rhetoric that gets said that these women won't want here. I understand it. So all of that would have to be thought about. But my point is, we have about 12, 15 million adult black men. You have the Z's coming up. You have the alphas coming in behind them. We've never had a situation where black people top and down can truly network with each other. And I'm talking about particularly black men. Because I'm sure that we get in a room with each other, we can hash a lot of this stuff out and come to some kind of compromise. But what happens is you have other groups that they have their own interest in there. And I'm not putting it on the women, but the women are not going to give up power. They're just not. and that's
brother,
human nature.
brother,
That's
I
not
think
just
also,
bad. Yeah, I'm done.
I think also, bro, like I'm not trying to be divisive, but I feel like I think some of it could be like, with the different groups of black people in America, I think like I'm not gonna lie, I feel like, sometimes like the Caribbeans and Africans, I feel like they go out of their way to fuck us over, to be honest. So like
Okay, how, bro, Day, how? Me and Free Blanche were talking about this early. How would they do that?
okay, so like I'll give you an example. So let's say like I work in IT and stuff, right? And at the IT companies and stuff that I work at and stuff, uh how do I explain? Like it's like one other black American that works there and we doing our thing and everything. And if I slightly mess up, whatever, what do? They go out of their way to go run to the white people and go tell them everything.
Man, I think that's any black person in power, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
and also we have like that's small shit.
Hold on a second. I mean, today I worked in corporate America, man. Trust me, I didn't have. So like when I did sales, you had the manager, and then you had the sales force, the sales team, and there was always like a manager in training on that sales team. Trust me, I had non FBA. It was FBA, definitely FBA ADOS. That if you wasn't making your phone calls, if you did this, you did that. I remember one day I came to the office, I didn't have my tie on, and they was going to tell. So you can't really. And then also HR.
Yeah, and that's FBA, and you know who the fuck in there.
Well, I just feel like
ADOS women, HR.
I just feel like we, I had nothing against him, but like I'll give you another example. Like my uncle, he has a restaurant, right? And like he even said it himself, like he hires black, he goes out of his way, like he won't even interview you, he'll just hire you just off the strength of being black, right? But what do the Africans do when they get there? Oh, this is not like Africa. You black Americans don't have no culture. We have our own.
But okay, so I hear what you're saying, but the thing about it is, I get that, I do, and I have a mixed bag with that. But if you focus on like if Ado's people focus on handling Ado's business, a lot of that shit dissipates because at the end of the day, we talked about that $1 trillion spending power, right? The reality is, if we focus on taking control of that spending power, we can dictate the terms as to a lot of that stuff. So really, because here's the thing, because let's say we go the route of fuck all the non-ADOS folks. That don't deal with the gender issue we got in ADOS culture. That isn't, which is a much bigger problem. I promise you.
But what do you mean? Because for instance, like the reason why I say this is because like if you look at like damn near all, not every situation, but a lot of the positions of power in America, they always get some fucking coon or some bedwench to like speak on behalf of us. And then they'd be like, well, see, you got a black person in power.
Which is why you're not hearing me. Which is why we have to focus on taking control and building things around the money we already spend. Like I'll tell you this, even in corporate America, the HR issue, black men not getting hired, is a much more bigger problem than a couple of non-ADOS black men that are over you. That is a much more bigger problem because that's a barrier to entry, and that's a barrier to income. I will tell you that the LGBT black man problem is bigger than. And look, I'm all about calling non-ADOS fuckery out. So make no mistake, I'm not caping for them. I'm cool with Pan-Africanism, but that shit better be reciprocal like a motherfucker. And that's where I run into having issues with them. Because if it ain't so, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying we got to focus on the things that actually will move the needle, and then that stuff will kind of fix itself, what you're talking about. That's all I'm saying.
No, because people over exaggerate the power that Africans have. I mean, it's like, God forbid if an African even says, we do this over here, and black people want to go to war. White people have been telling you shit for years, and you don't say nothing. Oh, yes, Mr. White Man. Any African critique of African Americans is seen as, oh, they're coming for us. But, yeah, to Edward's point, yeah, we have more bigger problems. Like, we got brothers like Information Man, Dynast, and all these guys on YouTube. I see black men are dominating YouTube. There's a lot of information going out there. So we can't say that, like this, the success of Kevin Sanders, You got
I
white
mean,
people out there
brother,
all
what
over
would
the
you?
world. So the bottom line is, the black men. All we have to do is stand on your square. You stand up like a man, say, "This is what we want," and let them come after you and try to destroy you. They did it with Kevin Samuels. They failed. You know, if we could, but the problem is, we basically as black men, we want to capitulate. And I know a lot of it is this. I'm not going to offend nobody, right? I
Mhm.
have a lot of people in the BAL, right? And then when I say something or whatever like that, and if a brother's married or he got a girl with her, next thing you know, yeah, I see Collar, but I know his wife or whoever like, got in his ear and said, that Collar, they say, I know that, So how do you do this, right? We got a lot of men who are married, they got daughters and everything, they're influenced by people in the community and everything like that. So we're not going to have the raw edict. I'm a black man. This is my word. It doesn't work like that. But we got to find a way how to do it. I think these the people who do got voices on YouTube, and we can get everybody on code like that to have voice. And Kevin Samuels proved that that can be done and everything in the manosphere. I'm not saying that we take all the points in the manosphere, but we can do
When I,
this,
when I,
but we can't
brother,
be more than talk. We
let me.
got to
Hold
actually
on.
have a plan. What do we want
Let
to do?
information man. Let information man. Go ahead,
All right,
information man. Go
my
ahead.
apologies.
You're muted. We can't hear you, information man. We can't hear you. We can't
Unmute
hear
my
you.
system. How's everybody
Go ahead.
doing?
We're doing good. Go ahead.
Interesting discussion. I just want to say that we need more quality black families, and we need more quality of black men who are working together towards something that leads to a solution to our problems. That's what our problems are. We have black families, but we don't have enough quality. When you look at white society, there's only been a small number of white families that have controlled the world. What I'm saying to you is we need quality black men, quality women, and we need to not shame black people who we deem are the elite, or black people who have gone to school, black people who are involved in professional classes. That's what we need. We need quality black family and male structure. And we also need to come to an understanding that we can voice our concerns about women. I'm past talking about women. I'm sick of it. Everybody wants to run their mouth about what's wrong with women. Let's worry about what we need to be doing as men. And I would ask Edward, as he has jumped off the panel, is he a member of any black male organization, whether fraternal or civic, what have you, that is doing the work that he's talking about? Because if we're not either members of an organization or we're coming together with black men who are doing these things collectively that we often complain about or often have gripes with, or often if black people would do this or do that, the only way you're going to make the change is you must come together with people of like-mindedness. Unity means people who are on the same page with you. You can't unify with everybody, only like-minded people. So if we do that systematically and come up with a plan and strategy, whether it's investment, brothers who are doing investment business together, whatever it may be, that's the only way we're going to solve these issues. The thing that bothers me personally is that we always use celebrities. I'm saying in general, and fuck rappers. I'm sick of hearing about rap. Fuck them. Fuck celebrities. We keep using them as the barometer for black America. We got rappers out here that's too dumb, getting RICO charges, too dumb to understand how to level up. They still got one foot in the streets and one foot they want to be an entertainer. The hell with them. Stop judging black society by the low-hanging fruit and minimizing the maximum of those of us who are doing the right things out here, and then propping up the minimum of us that are doing ratchet stuff as if that's the barometer of black society. It's not. Okay. So my question to everybody on this panel: what are you prepared to do in terms of what are you either doing now, or what are you prepared to do to unify with like-minded black men to achieve the things that we're not happy about? We're talking about Bob Johnson selling BET. Bob Johnson ran a poison network. And black people don't have the generational wealth to even have brought the damn thing in the first place. And Bob Johnson had no real intention to sell it to black people. He got the $1 billion that he wanted and he stepped out. What has he done since? Huh? Nothing. So let's stop talking about these type of Negroes. I'll rest there, Dynast.
All right. So hold on. Let's do
And
this.
also-
Hold on, Kyla. Free Blanche. Go ahead and respond, and we're going to go ahead and close out. But Free Blanche, the floor is yours to respond to information shows, questions. You know, you got the floor. Take your time, but then we're closing out after that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say that what everybody's talking about as a solution is culture. And I think the problem is that the majority of our people isn't what's displayed through rappers and entertainment. We know that. But the problem is the culture is pervasive in most of our households, most of our people. So the problem is, even if we have solutions, we're still going to be fighting against Black culture, because Black culture, what it is today, isn't what it was all those years ago. And so I agree with everybody on the panel with these solutions. I do. I believe, but at the same time, I also know that we're still going to get confronted with Black culture, meaning what we're comfortable with, what we like, what we enjoy, these types of things have to be rooted out if we're talking about building something. Now, if something's already in place, it's different. But if we're talking about building something, like from this point on, we're going to have to create a new culture. Whether
Hey, Brad, can I Free Branch a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah, what you're saying is absolutely right. Now, you remember something, right? We had all that before integration.
I
Right?
agree.
The whole thing is this. Now, if you say build that culture, right, we basically became the people to end racism. You know, everybody else kept their own culture, everything like this, and let the fools, the Black Americans, do all the stuff. You know, I don't judge people by the color of skin, just by the content of our character. And I want my Black boys and Black girls go to white girls and white boys. Everybody else is trying to get the bag. But we're like the fools. So anytime you say Black people say, no, something, I think I'm going to keep my community Black and everything like that. Oh, that's racism. They systematically dismantle all our institutions under the guise of integration and stuff like this. This is why we have nothing. We used to have role models in our communities. We used to have people, like I posted a thing on my Facebook timeline, once the time in Black America, a dying folks went through from the 1980s. And I said like this, we used to have role models. People used to rub elbows with a Black man who's a doctor or successful businessman. Now all those people have gone. And all the kids see is the drug dealers, the thugs, and everything like that. Let me tell you something. When you have real Black men in the area, right there, real Black men, because I'm from South Jamaica, Queens. I'll come up around real Black men. The thugs stay in their little corners because they're around real Black men. Real Black men that go out there and work and everything and bring home the bacon. The society, the community I came up with, men brought home the bacon, you know? It was a role model. That guy Mr. Wilson down the street could be a garbage man. But when he gets on Sunday morning, he goes to church with Sunday morning, it's Mr. Wilson to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the sort of society I grew up in.
But Khaled,
we don't have that anymore.
You're just agreeing with my philosophy here, brother. The reason why you had that back in the day is because you had quality family structure. Quality, not quantity.
Yes.
But if we don't have quantity, brother, then we're going to be bred out of existence. So we need a bit of both, because within 50 years, we're going to be less than 5% of the population.
But what does it make to have a whole bunch of Black families and a lot of them are dysfunctional? What we have today is we have dysfunction that you brothers are talking about. When I mean by quality, that doesn't mean that we breed ourselves out of existence. But what I'm saying is we need to prop up instead of the rappers and the entertainers and all these other dysfunctions. We need to prop up Black people who are a living example of what we should be striving for. When we talk about Dr. Claude Anderson, he went to Detroit. He tried to put a Black town in Detroit, and those Negroes, politicians out there, ran him out. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to scream at y'all, but I'm just saying, it seems like some of us don't. Yeah, Claude Anderson was talking about, hey, you got a Chinese town. You got all these other towns. I want to make a Black town in Detroit, right? A particular district. And when he proposed that, you know who ran him off? It wasn't the white people. Just like Dallas was saying, we always hollering about white supremacy. Nah, it was Negroes who ran him out of there and did not want to vote for his initiatives. You see what I'm saying?
Brother, this is why I brought up the Caribbean thing earlier and stuff, right? Is that why I said there's a difference? Because you have a Caribbean section like in New York and everywhere and all this stuff, right? But when you want to do something specifically for foundational Black Americans to say, oh, let us have our own division area, they say, oh, no, but there's a Caribbean section. I'm not Caribbean.
No, but they, I'm gonna tell you the difference. So when these I guess non-FBA, non-ADOS immigrants come to America, they don't look to the politicians for permission to go rent a corner store, go get a lease on a corner store, or to do susu and say, okay, you know what, we'll start your business right here. Okay, you make this amount of money, kick it over to so-and-so so they can start the business next door. They don't need to go and get permission and sit down with politicians and the government and come up with this big elaborate thing. They just go and do it. That's the difference. So that's the difference between Caribbeans, other immigrants, and Black Americans. It's like, okay, Clyde Anderson went to Detroit to get a Black city done or whatever. Nah, you just get the money together and go do it. No one's gonna stop you.
Well, why can't they work? Why can't they work together with us though? I mean, we was the one pushing for all this Pan-Africanism.
Listen, hold on. If I can interject, but I'll pass it to you. I'm in Atlanta. Like, I mean, what do you mean work with us? The majority of us, we don't even own our own gas stations in our community.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right.
But I mean, work together. How? We're not like Blanche was saying earlier. The majority of us just aren't interested.
Right.
They're not interested. We're not interested.
We just gonna buy nigga trinkets and just not have nothing, basically.
No, what we should do is try to work with those like-minded Black people that we can work with. And we always know that it's going to be a small number of us, right? If you look at the history of Black people in America, whether you look at the Civil Rights Movement or the Black Power Movement, it was always a small number of people that was with that. And then a large number of people that wasn't with that. You know, it was a small number. It wasn't as big as you actually think it is, because you're always going to have some Black people out there who just want to be on the low vibrations. It's just the facts. So work with those you can work with. That's why I was talking about quality Black families. Okay, that's what we should be celebrating. That's what we should be introducing our kids. So, for example, and Donis, you know what I'm about to say. We have Black people who will berate and shun things like Jack and Jill, right? All these different Black organizations that we would deem as secret societies that Black people created coming out of slavery, out of Reconstruction, right? We will hawk at that. But if you do your research, Jack and Jill was about reinforcing the best of our people. Okay, maybe they might have been middle class, upper middle class Black people, but why do we shun Black people who have strived for that? Why do we shun them, but we seem to celebrate the Pookies and the rappers with the pants hanging down their ass like they got a bowel movement?
Well, I'm gonna go back to culture. At the end of the day, we're in America and there's opportunity here, right? But we're saying that white people are stopping us. Everybody outside of America sees those same white people and sees opportunity. So the problem is we're more focused on white people, white America, white supremacy, white privilege than actually building. Like, so the problem is when other people come over here, let's say Africans, they're not worried about racism. They're not worried about white folks. They're coming over here with a purpose and a plan. We're over here crying and complaining about somebody that came from 2,000 miles away across the waters and came and started a business. Like, how can we even talk to them if our focus isn't the same? They're focused on building and even sending money back to their people back home. We're focused on complaining. Just think about this. Look what the Democrats tell us: police brutality and the right to vote. Why is nobody talking about economics, building up communities, building an infrastructure? Nobody's talking about economics in our community. We're only talking about social issues that nobody else cares about. The Asians don't care about it. The Hispanics, nobody cares about the stuff we care about. So at the end of the day,
also, brother, if you look at too, like, you completely right, but you look at also what are other issues that they're pushing on us, making it seem like it's racist. They pushing abortion, talking about, oh, Black women need help. They need abortion because they want to lower our numbers because they don't want a bunch of niggas.
So what we got to do is, again, I remember in the 80s, they said that AIDS was a white gay man's disease. This is what they said. White gay men took to the streets, took to the airways. They literally fought to get that stigma off of them.
Mm-hmm.
So what you notice is that when people reject, you have to reject these things. So we can't be out there talking about my body, my choice. If we're having 1,000 abortions a day, we have to start rejecting these notions. So when Biden gets on TV and says that you don't have enough sense to have an accountant for your business, or you don't have enough sense to have a lawyer for your business, or you don't know how to get on the internet, we have to reject these things. But again, that's a part of culture. You can't go to these other cultures and talk to them about how they talk to us. They talk to us crazy. Look how they talk to us. And then instead of addressing the real problem, we getting upset with immigrants. We getting upset. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? We talking about reparations, and Joe Biden gave $55 billion to the Ukrainians. If we're so intent on building this stuff up, why are we not holding him accountable? Why we got more energy towards some Africans than we do Joe Biden? So at the end of the day, the problem is culture. The problem
I think we have a problem with Africans because we look at them as being like, I mean, they black like us too, right? So we see them, and also like a recent statistic I read said that like right now, 1 in 20 black people are descendants of slaves in America, right? But in 30 years, it's going to be 1 in 10, and then after that, it's going to be 1 in 5. So basically, the problem we have is that Africans and Caribbeans are effectively replacing us in America. That's without question. That is true. So that's the problem we have, and we feel like our voice is being ate up, and we feel like our opinions are no longer happening. Our voting power. I read recently that by 2035, the black vote is going to be null and void. It's not going to have any power.
The average Black American ADOS FBA, what is his voice? What is his opinion?
I mean, nigga shit. Basically.
Okay, so what does it matter? So another group of people that's coming in that's being serious. Like, I mean, what does it matter?
Part of the problem is that we have to change our ideation, our cultural conditioning. We have been culturally conditioned. I'm gonna step on some people's toes here. We have been culturally conditioned as black people in America to be religiously oriented, to be politically democratic oriented, to believe in a messiah complex, to believe in someone's gonna save us, to believe in Joe Biden, to believe in Obama, all these different people who have promised us so much but gave us nothing. They treat us like Charlie Brown on the Peanuts game on Halloween when he got nothing but rocks in his bag. Black people been getting them rocks in our bag from the Democratic Party and from this system. What we could do is we could learn from the immigrants, and I know it's because I work around people who come from the Caribbean and people who come from the continent, right? And we should learn from them this fundamental point: they're coming here for a better life, and they're coming here to get the bag and for economic empowerment. If black people would focus on economic empowerment only, nothing else matters. I lived in San Francisco. Asian people don't give a damn and don't whine about politics because the politicians come to them because they know that the Asians got juice. If black people would create juice for ourselves, we can make them come to us and beg us. But oftentimes we're in a position of begging the politicians, and then they focus on females because they know that females are the emotional group amongst us, which they can play on. That's why the black women tend to vote Democratic more higher than black men. That is our problem. Look, brother, I believe in reparations. I'm in California, and I've been involved in the reparations movement in California. We've gotten some things passed in California. We got some good things happening in California around that issue. But black people, we can chew gum, ride a bike, and do all these different things. It still doesn't make me feel that I'm going to put all my eggs in this one basket, because you still got to get out there and do the work. You still got to think about your long-term future. So I don't have time to really spend a lot of time hating on immigrants. You're going to meet bad people in every group and every race, okay? I can't spend that much time on that issue because we got bigger fish to fry right now. So what are we going to do about it, you know? But Adonis, I'm going to jump off the panel, brother. I appreciate you letting me on.
I appreciate you. Let's go to do this. Dan, let me have Blanche close out because I gotta.
Okay, my apologies.
Peace to you, brothers.
No worries. Everybody, thank you for joining. But Blanche, go ahead and close us out.
Peace.
Oh yeah, so I agree with everybody's point because everybody's point is pretty much valid. I just believe that we have to change the culture, and the culture is your mindset, how you do things, and I don't think that we can expect after what we've done with our culture, letting everybody just come in and pillage and plunder. How can we expect someone else to not do it? Like this is we give it away for free. So at the end of the day, I would say that instead of focusing on the small fish, we need to focus on what's important. What do we actually want? What do we want? Do we actually like what do we want? And it seems like we want an economic infrastructure. If we do want that, then that's going to take some form of unity, some form of planning, some form of something that we're not doing now if we really want it. And at the end of the day, if like anybody else, if it comes to other groups of people that look like us, you're going to have to partner with them if they have the economics we desire. We're going to have to incorporate them if they have the economics we desire because you're coming to a country that is a melting pot. I understand everybody's talking points. I'm just saying we got to focus on what's important and change the culture really.
All right, cool. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, Free Blanche, how can people contact you and find you? I know you got your own.
Yes.
Are you on YouTube or are you primarily on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. YouTube is He Is Blanchard. Instagram is He Is Blanchard. Twitter is Free Blanche or He Is Blanchard, one of them. Yeah, all my platforms are He Is Blanchard. I'm on all the platforms.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, family. Peace.
Thank you. Appreciate it.